We're live.
Just like that. It only took 9 seconds. That's amazing. That's like less than 10 seconds.
But it's not fast enough to save your life.
Oh, what is going on, beautiful people? We're getting ready for LinuxGameCast episode 581. Plenty of things to talk about. Let me kick over to live in Discord. So if you're listening to the pre-shows, then you know where we'd be. Right over there. Let's see how many people are listening. Katana.
And only Katana.
And just Katana. Everybody else is just pieced out. I don't blame you. No, we got Truggy.
Oh, yeah, we got Truggy.
2 people. What are we talking about tonight? All the rumors about the new version of the Steam Deck,
They're true.
Yeah,
it's 100%. Everything you ever wanted.
Lasers. Yes. And a bunch of new games. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 new games we're going to be on about. A couple of game updates up to and including something about birds. I know. Updates for Vulkan on the Intel side. A new Intel card that was promised last year is finally starting to roll out. And we're going to be wrapping up with, I think, some opinions on buying hardware, I think. I don't remember. It might be hardware. Stay tuned.
Give me a second, I'll be right back.
Yeah.
Hey, everyone. It's me and Jordan. Pedro's got to go.
It's Pedro's butt.
Featuring Pedro's blue jeans. I got some blue jeans. Do you eat frozen dinners?
Like the Swanson Hungry Man's?
Oh, yeah, I saw like they have a advent calendar of frozen food.
Doesn't surprise me that one exists, but yeah.
Stouffer's, not Swanson.
Stouffer, okay.
Stouffer's, not making this up, an advent calendar filled with frozen dinners. Sells out in 15 minutes.
I mean, like, I freeze a lot of my food just because it's convenient to store it that way, but like... No, I don't get like the prepackaged like microwavable TV dinners.
Have you ever had one? I was thinking about that.
I have. I fell for marketing as a child. I saw those Swanson Hungry Man commercials, and I thought to myself, I'm a hungry man. I'm a hungry 10-year-old man.
Okay.
This appeals to me, so I begged and I convinced my mom to buy me one, and I had it. And it was fucking terrible, and I'm like, What the commercial said it was good. And it's like, the commercial lied, son.
Uh-huh. Why doesn't that like stick with like fast food, right? Because you see like the fast food pictures and you get it and you're like, the fuck's this?
I think fast food has the other element of like the now factor, right? I know people who bring like the instant dinners to like work for lunch, and like that makes sense, right? Like if you don't want to like take the time to prepare and cook a lunch, there's like a pre-portioned meal or whatever. Nowadays you have stuff like what's it called, Factor or HelloFresh, or like a bunch of them that'll just like send you your meals every day. Trifecta is another one. But yeah, I don't know. Like with McDonald's or something, it's like it's 3:00 in the morning. I'm out. And then there's a 24-hour McDonald's open. I'm gonna get me a McMuffin.
Taco Bell said we couldn't have any through the drive-thru, so
Taco Bell wouldn't let me give them my money because
you gotta
they would
be
not
in a car. We only take money from people in a car.
That is that bothers me because that is like such a fucked up like wealth tax. Like you cannot engage with this unless you are rich enough to have a car.
You can take an Uber.
You cannot have this unless you're rich enough to afford to pay $15 for a car ride to go through a drive.
You're already out at 3:00 in the morning going through fast food. You got money.
Not if you're going to the Taco Bell dollar menu.
Your ass should be at home.
That's the thing. I have $10. I don't have $25.
Then your ass should be at the grocery store, not fast food.
Well, see, that's the problem. Then Meth Head Charlie's at the Ralph is gonna bite you. That's why you don't go at 3. Ralph's?
A grocery store chain, I'm assuming.
That's what happened when Empty Mirror and I went to a Ralph's. It was like 11:00 at night for one of the scales, and there's like this dude just fucking tweaking, like fucking seeing colors, schmoovin' and groovin', and they're like, "Sir, you have to leave," and he gives the person a look like, "Yeah, I'm gonna bite you, motherfucker." It's like, "Sir, you have to leave." I'm like. And and the three of us were just like, okay, how do we get out of here like before like this guy goes apeshit on?
Oh,
like,
come on, man! You still have to balance that. I'm like, but I kind of want to watch.
Like, I want to watch, but I don't want to get roped into whatever's gonna
Right,
go
so you
down.
have to factor in the minimum safe distance here. Like,
See, but then there's also the I am way too high for this shit multiplier of like, I don't even know what's gonna happen right now. I barely have grips on where I am at the moment. So was Truggy there with us? He might have been.
Oh no,
he might have been.
No, grocery store cards. Do they still do those?
Yeah.
Those used to be a thing. They'd have deals. You'd go into a place and they'd be like, here, if you sign up for this, we'll give you this card. And you get everything off for like 20% for 10 minutes or something like that. I haven't seen that in a long time.
Yeah, we do that a lot as part of like our extreme couponing.
Okay.
Yeah, my wallet is upstairs, but it has one of several of the club cards that we have.
Oh, I did have a good laugh. Mary, you bring that up. Self-checkout. Are we all team self-checkout?
Yeah.
For the most part. Some places, depending on how full your card is, they don't let you do self-checkout.
Okay.
If you have
a trolley, they don't let you do self-checkout in Tesco's. They tell you, please go to one of the tills.
Yeah, they don't care here. You're like, whatever. And I was checking out. I noticed this probably a couple of months ago. It says, oh, do you want a receipt? I'm like, it's not that big a deal, but it had an option. It was like, do you want to print or would you like to text? I'm like, I had a good laugh at that. Like, I'm not punching my mobile number in.
Oh, yeah. Do you want the email receipt? No.
Like, what does any text message? I'm like, that's nice. No.
I imagine that's useful, though, if, like, you need, it's easier than keeping, like, a physical receipt if you need to, like, report expenses, if you're, like...
I mean, click.
I guess, yeah, I don't know. There are apps that actually, like, scan receipts and, like, OCR the things.
It's called Google Photos.
Well, this one, like, actually, like, fills out the expense
option.
report for it.
Yeah. OCR is pretty good these days, man. You don't think about it until you use it.
Yeah.
Although about the self-checkouts, I am
all those
lazy, and
captchas
sometimes
I filled out.
Sometimes I'll walk out of one of the aisles, look at the self-checkout, there's a queue, look at the tills, there's a lady looking at me with no one waiting. It's like, okay, fine. Just dump the thing.
I don't know, man. Like, I'm not antisocial in the slightest, obviously, but that situation of, like, there's one person in line and there's the empty line, and then the cashier's like, come over here. And I've absolutely, honestly been like, no, I'm good. I just don't want to deal with a human being today. So, like, I'll wait. Thank you, though.
Truggy, those meth heads were fine. If you, like, they were just trying to sleep. Like, they were literally just trying to sleep. We woke them up. We were the assholes in this situation.
You just served them.
Hey, man, life is hard. Sometimes you don't get a house.
It's like, pardon me for disturbing your high, but I need to go through.
Yeah, mind your own business, right? Like, yeah. I got my problems. They got theirs.
What are we talking about? Has anybody seen any fun games? I haven't seen anything lately.
Yeah, nothing that
I
really.
want to play. I found a couple of games that I'm willing to watch other people play in the background.
Again, I'm just waiting for Starfield to get cheap. I'm waiting for Tiny Tina to get cheaper.
Yeah.
It's starting to get cheap, but it's not at that level where I'm like, ooh, yoink.
I've been playing Peglin. It's still in early access, but it's fun. It's like a Peggle, but with roguelike, Slay the Spire style progression. I really like what they did with it. Yeah.
Can you get pegged?
Great.
If you can, I haven't reached that, but I have reached. There's a mini boss that's like
Next
a
week.
hand
This game
coming
took
out
a
of a
sharp
wall.
right turn, dude.
Yeah. And by the way, so did the sex toy.
There's like a hand coming out of a wall, and every turn it gets closer to you, and when it finally gets closer to you, it just basically slaps you for like half your health. It's yeah.
Yeah, I've been looking around. I was kind of excited about the RoboCup, and I watched somebody play the demo, and it turns out it's Fallout Detroit.
There was that one investigation game I wanted to try out that was like procedurally generated, but like it was very open-ended, where like you had to like collect evidence to solve murders and stuff, but you could like sneak through vents and like.
Oh right, you were telling me about that.
Yeah,
everything has like repercussion, knock on.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the only thing's like The Last of Us, but that they got to come off that price on me.
Oh yeah, Terminator Resistance is actually a very fun game. It's like Terminator Fallout, but it's nice.
I do want to take another crack at Cyberpunk. It looks like the update looks really good. I just need a new video card to play that fucking game.
I installed it and did some benchmarks along with Strider at like 5 o'clock in the morning. It's like, all right, I'm good. I need to go to bed now.
Yeah, like I'm gonna restart my character. I'm gonna like pick a build that's not gonna fuck me over when they do an update.
Do you do it with Phantom Liberty though?
It's a good question, because like Phantom Liberty is pretty expensive still. It's still like what, $40?
Yeah, but they allegedly spent like $120 million over the last year fixing Cyberpunk. I don't know.
Yeah, no, but that all came out with that. All the fixes came with the 2.0 stuff.
Yeah,
Phantom Liberty is just the new content. I'm not allowed to view this content at this time because I'm a young man.
I don't know.
I can't see the titties. Why not?
Yeah, Baldur's Gate 3, I too want to have time to play Baldur's Gate 3, because that sounds exactly like the kind of game that I would just lose weeks to.
You would, yeah.
I watched Jordan play it. I watched you play it for a little bit on Thursdays. Thursday. We had a Thursday this week, yeah.
There was a Thursday this week.
You were doing pretty good. You didn't seem to get squad wiped.
I didn't know. But then it ended on, the stream ended on like, do you side with the orcs or do you side with the Harpers? And I'm like, I don't like either of these people. Can I kill them all?
I think you can, yes.
Well, yes, I can, but it's a Larian game. They're like, yeah, kill, like, this dude is an important king of the realm. I'm gonna stab him in the brain. Cool, the game continues. Everyone in here attacks you, and now you gotta go find your other
items. Are you strong enough to make it out of the castle in the city alive? Okay, then, go on.
Yeah, go for it. We will not stop you. Here is the rope. Go hang yourself.
So do you think there's any chance Baldur's Gate would ever work as an ARPG?
That was Diablo.
Oh, well, I mean, yes, after they... yeah, well, hang on. No, the original Diablo was like last minute. Like, the last 30 minutes before release, it was turned into an ARPG.
Right, yeah.
Because they really wanted to make it turn-based.
They were like the lead designer was like, he was like, no, it has to be turn-based.
And they'd taken on some investment, and one of the investors at the other smaller studio was like, have you tried it? Could you just try it to fuck around with? And he did, and he's like, turns out it worked really good. It was fun. Oh.
Yeah, I think honestly, like in terms of sort of threading the needle of real time and pause, BG3 does a pretty good job of it, because like it's all turn-based behind the scenes and you can pause at any time, but like if you just want to play stuff out in the overworld, you can. It's just but if you need like the extra precision movement for like stealth, my character uses I have now learned how to use stealth in this game, and it's so overpowered. It's great.
All right. Somebody was talking, and that's one of the reasons I tuned in on Thursday. It was like the accessibility of like if you were just trying to get into Baldur's Gate. That's why I brought it up during the stream. Was even me looking at it, like I have some experience with these types of games. That menu can get fucked.
Yeah, it's the inventory is not great.
Like the multiple layers.
That's always the issue. You get RPGs like that. Like the inventory in Neverwinter Nights was passable, but then again, it had tabs.
Yeah, and like Ultima had this problem. All these games have this problem. Games where like you're expected to collect shit and craft, and like
Dragon Age Origins, the inventory was a pain in the neck to actually navigate through.
Linux Niru, here's the thing. I found this out. If you don't kill the goblin leaders, you get to recruit one of them later in Act 2. If you go through the plot as intended, you don't get to do it.
Skyrim inventory? Skyrim I would put under serviceable.
Skyrim gave you a house to stick all your wheels to cheese.
I quit. I gave up before the houses showed up. But yes.
Skyrim was very much the culmination of Bethesda going, ooh, this console thing is profitable. Let's just make a UI for that. And despite even Todd Howard himself going, yeah, I always use the UI mod on PC, then why don't you fucking offer that as an option on PC?
Because PC players do it for free.
Yeah. The modders will do it for free.
Right? I mean, Pedro, we release all these modding tools and make it really easy for you to do that. So,
we release all these modding tools in this busted game so that our players can fix it for us.
We wouldn't do that. Of course we do. That's part of our business strategy. That's how Starfield rolled out with that intent of like, they'll fix it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Bethesda titles are definitely something that you benefit waiting a year to play. But even with like Baldur's Gate, because I heard some people talking about the camera mods, like people were complaining that you couldn't zoom out far enough.
You can't zoom out far enough, and sometimes it restricts your angles to like some real dumb shit. Mm-hmm. And when you're trying to like target something, it's like, no, I'm not going to let you select it because this one piece of the background's in the way.
There's particle effects in the way, so you can't select that character.
Doors are really bad for it because the door itself is a selectable object that can be interacted with. So things through doors are on the opposite side of them are sometimes real annoying to deal with. That's
one of the things that Neverwinter Nights back in the day did right, because the only thing that was solid was like the thing that was at character height. Everything above that, the camera could easily clip through and it would just disappear. So there were no camera issues because you had full control over the camera.
Neverwinter Nights didn't really do any verticality stuff though, which BG3 does. There's a lot of three-dimensional movement in that game. And like, it matters.
At most you could have like the archers on a higher thing if the map was built that way. But yeah, no, you couldn't actually just go climb that cliff there, no.
Well, just because like shoving people, like, so if you're a druid wild shaping into something heavy and jumping off of a building and just landing your fat ass onto people will like one-shot most things in that game.
Yeah.
Because they do the damage calculation based on weight. There's like a bunch of stuff where like verticality matters, and yeah, and so the camera has to like compensate for that and keep everything all on like, it's weird. They're doing the best they can, and I'm glad the mod exists.
All the mods.
They got to turn it into like a rhythm game though.
We're going to be trying a rhythm game in the after shows.
Yeah. Oh boy.
We're going to be playing around. There's a Jackbox Party Pack 10 demo out, so we're going to light that up. If you want to stick around and play with us, you're welcome to. The price of admission is sticking around.
Making it through this fucking gauntlet of a podcast, my God. Whew. That's a big one.
All right.
How many stories? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. The Steam segment is the length of our usual podcast these days. 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, and then 2 hate mail. All right.
Hey, I trimmed it down a little bit.
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
And we got that. Sure, that. Yeah. It was a fun show. What does it? Never mind. Leave it alone.
Don't touch it.
Yeah. We'll play around with that button in the after show.
What does this button do? Wham!
I mean, you got to find out what the button does, man.
Yeah, there's only one way to find out, really. Like, it's the button is labeled, but do you really believe it?
See, I don't label anything.
Goblin Slayer. Season 2 of that is airing now.
What is that?
Goblin Slayer.
Oh, did the Akira bicycle turn into a knight?
No.
Transform?
It was a show. It caused a little
When
bit
are we
of...
going to get a fucking Transformers set in medieval times?
We did. That was the Michael Bay, one of the Michael Bay ones. I'm not even joking. The last night had Transformers fighting with King Arthur.
What?
Yeah. I watched that shit on an airplane, man. I had nothing to do.
I guess, yeah, I only saw the first Transformers Michael Bay movie.
I think it was like the last Shia one.
Plot. 480, Merlin finds the Knights of Layson. A group of Transformers is hiding in the present. So it's not, the entire thing's not.
No, the entire thing isn't, but like Merlin is a Transformer and some shit, and like...
They're still gonna make another one, $600 million.
So, yeah, it's Stonehenge, man. Stonehenge, where the demons dwell, where the banshees live, and they do live well.
When I hear the word Stonehenge, I just hear the chorus of Drives a Civic, Honda Civic.
What odds that
car you
again?
can
Drive a
trust.
Civic, drive a Civic. What's the meaning of Stonehenge?
Goddamn, like bring that shit back, man.
Elvis?
Yeah. That was a good show. We don't get a lot of stuff like that on YouTube these days, man. Like,
No, it's all because it's all reaction content, and we have the reaction to the reaction content, and the reaction to the reaction to the reaction content.
we've seen the level of content that Chasing the Algorithm has produced for us. Race to the bottom of the brainstem, people.
Lowest common denominator, people sitting back with their phones just listening to stupid.
I mean, if you want to talk about how prophetic South Park has been with like the fucking kids' TV morning shows, like we're fucking getting there, all right? Everyone's just high on cough syrup.
But yeah, no, I was going to say, Goblin Slayer caused a bit of controversy when it first came out, because it's like, it's a PG-13 show, first episode. You have goblins raping, some random characters, because that's how
PG-13 in Japan. Yeah.
Because that's how they make more goblins. And it's like, oh, yeah, PG-13. Right.
Yeah. Some people just wanted to watch hentai on broadcast TV, man.
Can you make a goblin character in D&D?
Yes. There's a DLC that adds it to Baldur's Gate 3 as well.
How are goblins
not a
born
DLC,
in D&D, though?
A goblin that was born in D&D?
No, how are they born?
When a mommy goblin and a daddy goblin love each other very much.
You're leaving out a word, man. Explosively being the
Explosively. I was getting to there. I had to explain about Maglubiet, the goblin deity, and how they have to ask him permission before they can have explosive sex.
Oh man. FCC. Oh, whatever. Oh, dude. The podcast licensing thing took place in Canada. They passed that.
What thing?
Podcast.
Podcasting legal guide for Canada?
News.
What's the legalities in Canada?
The Globe and what's a good? I don't know what a good Canadian site is.
Globe and Mail is okay. They're not super biased, but they do have some fairly prominent bias.
New powers of the Online Streaming Act, Bill C-11.
Yeah, C-11. Yeah, no, this has been the big one in contention.
To me, I just like lost over and it came across as like a protection racket for the fucking radio.
Yeah, it's the Canadian content stuff, right? Where they don't want the airwaves to just be filled with like American media. They want to like have Canadian.
You see, that's the problem. You shouldn't have your podcast on the airwaves.
Yes, obviously, if you're bringing your podcast to the local I guess, hi-fi radio station, yeah, give them a thumb drive to be like, we don't have that. We only take vinyl. So I have to go get my podcast pressed on a vinyl record and bring it back to the fucking...
Would we qualify as a Canadian podcast?
No.
I mean, we have the regular returning Canadian.
Can you get Canadian podcast? Well, see that's like.
Well, but like to that extent, like, is Star Trek a Canadian science fiction show because William Shatner is from Canada? Right?
Yes.
Like, okay, fair enough. Same then Battlestar Galactica counts too, motherfuckers. Lord Green.
Anything
also,
filmed in where's
anything
the
in Vancouver? Yeah,
Vancouver. Yes.
So everything.
Or as I like to call it, the Sci-Fi Channel.
Yeah. I was watching something. Apparently, Stargate was basically keeping the Vancouver film industry like alive for like a good 7 years.
I can imagine, man. Like that was a big production show too.
Yeah, that was like, yeah, it was like that people were really like, the industry people were really upset when that shut down, because it was like, yeah, they were employing all the actors, they were employing all the special effects people, like, yeah. And every so often you see like someone, and like Stargate was kind of like the Star Trek of its era for springboarding actors, right? Like, there was a saying in Hollywood, everyone used to do Star Trek because, like, if you wanted exposure, Star Trek has a lot of open parts. They have basically a new cast every week. You can book a role in Star Trek and get your face out there. Same with Stargate. Look at like Jason Momoa. Like, he was in Baywatch before that,
right?
And then he was in Stargate, and then his career blew up.
That's the calculations that I was doing for video. I'm like, who's blown up out of that? And like, I guess Jason Momoa. Richard Dean Anderson had already done his thing. Like, it was MacGyver. Yep. He was MacGyver the entire time he was doing it. I'm like, yeah, I'm watching MacGyver in space.
Yep. You see a bunch of Stargate actors all over the place too. Well, the ones that are still alive. Old General Hamster is no longer with us, unfortunately. It's always funny when like he shows up in a show as the General, and you're like, oh shit.
Hammond of Texas. Yeah, I think yeah, it's Jason Momoa. Has really been the only breakout star through the entirety of the Stargate series.
Yeah, I guess, yeah.
Sci-fi is one of the four pillars of the Canadian. Yeah. Reboot? Yeah, Reboot was Canadian.
Superman, technically Canadian. What was it? It was one of Siegel or Schuster was from Toronto, and like the Daily Planet was originally the Daily Star, and it was based off of the Toronto Star.
Never get into the Superman like lore. Like the only thing I like, the most fascinating thing for me, like, is the old like 1920s and 30s, the black and white cartoons. Because the animation quality of those things.
The Fleischer, yeah, because they're all rotoscoped, and like they traced over like actual people like doing shit. Yeah, it looks really good.
But outside of that, that and Superman in '64. That's my other touchstone.
Well, yeah, you got to fly through rings.
That is an excellent speedrun category if anybody's because as you might expect, it's a little buggy.
Yeah. Yeah, if you like that show, Killjoys, Lost Girl is the first one that the person did. Oh, fuck. Remember Dark Matter? That shit was good until they canceled it.
I never finished watching it because I got the announcement that, like, yeah, we're canceling. I'm out. I'm done. I've been damaged too many times. I can't write this out anymore.
It was NBC, right? Like, yeah. We got three solid-ass seasons. Ends on a cliffhanger.
Just getting to the point, man. Just getting to the point of, like...
It hit its stride, and you're just like, okay.
Like, I'm done. Like, I know everybody. Everybody's got character development things. Basil, thank you. 45
so
months.
Cute. Oh my god.
Dude, yeah, that was
another NBC casualty.
Man, fuck NBC with it. Like, And somehow, what Saturday Night Live is still on. I don't know anybody who's ever actually watched Saturday Night Live outside of the 90s.
Yeah, it was I watched a lot of the best of collections. I watched a lot of reruns
The clips
on Comedy
on YouTube,
Channel.
yes.
Yeah.
on TV, they used to in the summers. They used to have like SNL reruns from like 10 to like 1 p.m. in the afternoon. So as opposed to 1 p.m. in the morning.
And even growing up, man, I wasn't Saturday Night Live. I was Mad TV.
Yeah, Mad TV.
Or in living color.
Yeah, Mad TV was very hit or miss though. Sometimes it was very funny, but then you get like a Miss Swan or a Stewie.
Oh yeah, well you just put it. Well, I mean that was filler until you got the next Kitty Rogers jackass.
Kitty Rogers. Just drink a 2-gallon jug of milk.
So it was California on holiday. All right. Well, I mean, if you were in Cali in the mid '80s, man, and you took a break from whatever
the cocaine binge.
Yeah. And, I think with modern touchstones, I mean, a lot of people are familiar with the 70s Saturday Night Live with Belushi and that crew. And the 80s, Eddie Murphy was on. Then in the 90s, you had your Adam Sandlers and David Spade.
And we were talking about it last week when this came up, right? It's good recent stuff like Dick in a Box, which was 12 years ago. And you're like, ah!
That happens, man. That happens. Not getting any younger. That's all right. I just wish we'd get smarter. It's gonna happen.
No, just gotta keep chewing on this lead. That'll fix it.
Chevy Chase. I remember reading about him throwing a bit of a fit about his character in Community, and that's why he kind of got noped.
Yeah, I prefer Ferrari Chase myself.
Chevy Chase is
Is his full name Chevrolet?
I was reading a quote about it. It's everybody goes through their asshole phase when they get famous. Mm-hmm. Another actor was talking about Chevy Chase. He's like, but you get over it. Chevy Chase never did.
His full name is Cornelius? Oh my god.
Dude, I'd have to hold on
Chevy.
to that. Cornelius?
Cornelius
you know what?
is dope.
You would hate that growing up, but by 23, 24, you were like, it's Cornelius.
Cornelius Chase.
Right.
Can I call you Corny instead?
Yeah. Only if you let me take you to dinner.
I'm just gonna call
Only
you
if you let me
Corny
take you
anyway.
to dinner first. That's the follow-up. See? Fucking get smooth talked by Cornelius. Yeah, officer. Yeah. What are you doing later? Do you know how fast you were going?
LinuxGameCast jackass.
Yeah. Did you know how fast you were going? Hey man, I was just trying to get to your place.
Yeah.
What's up, baby?
Ford Chase. Ford versus Ferrari is a good movie if you haven't watched it, even if you're not into motoring sports.
Yeah, again, I want Hot Wheels versus Matchbox with a Ford versus Ferrari setup, but it's just all 6-year-olds. Intense smoking and drinking 6-year-olds.
I watched that. I cannot find the commercial for the life of me. I hope they never pulled it, but I forget what company it was. They redid a shot-for-shot remake of What's in the Box.
Oh yeah,
but they did it with little people.
And I
I
remember that one. Yeah,
this is recent.
Yeah,
it's very well done. Speaking of, we do have the Toxic Avenger, and that's going to be kind of fun. That trailer looks dope, and it's got Peter Dinklage in it, so I'm going to watch it. I'll watch anything with Peter Dinklage in it because he picked some good. He's kind of like oh, what was the Harry Potter kid? Radcliffe. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
He's kind of like him.
Have you seen the original Death at a Funeral?
No, I don't think so.
You should. He's really. That's one of his really early ones. He's really good. That movie is fucking hysterical.
All right, I'll check it out.
Yeah. There's a remake one with Chris Rock that apparently Peter Dinklage is also in.
Yeah, they did a Gran Turismo movie. I kind of just glossed over that because the last video game one I watched was with the Breaking Bad Jesse in it.
Need for Speed.
Yeah, that was horrible.
I saw that one too.
So like this one, I saw the trailer for Gran Turismo. It's a documentary or something about like, oh, he's so good at Gran Turismo that they're gonna put him in an actual car. Yeah. Which, I mean, like, I guess if you're gonna make a racing video game movie, like, sure,
Give the kids hope.
Yeah, that's a premise, right? Like, it's like The Wizard, right? Like, from the yeah. Maybe your video game skills will transfer into something useful. But if you really want that, you got to be playing American Truck Simulator, though.
And just call up one of those companies that have billboards in the game, because yes, those are real companies.
Now this
and
is
those
like,
are real ads.
Outside of our wheelhouse, but some of you will have kids. Like, if your kid's addicted to Truck Simulator, do you like even give them a hard time? You're like, hold back security there, you know?
Yeah, no, he's gonna have a good career long haul trucking. So like, yeah, logistics is like what? What's his name? Blasphemia. He's a long haul trucker, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
There's a couple of guys on a Reddit in the PC Master Race that like share their battle station setups and their cabs, their overnights. The competition actually existed.
Okay.
Academy.
I'm sure because it was a Sony ran competition, it was completely above board, not rigged, and everyone was treated fairly, right? Right?
Yeah, go and listen to Ego Raptor's story about
the tester,
video gamer.
Yeah, the tester. That was the show.
The tester. Yeah, that's the one.
And he pushed hard for that too. He was just like, I remember that.
As part of the audience, I have fucking all idea what you're talking about.
Don't worry.
Reality
about it.
TV about video game people.
Yeah. The Game Grumps guy, when he was like in between transitioning from like Newgrounds to YouTube, he was doing a bunch of reality TV stuff. One of them was there was a reality show that Sony hosted called The Tester, and the idea was like, if you win the contest, then you get a job as a QA at Sony, which like, you know, which is actually probably less abusive than the actual hiring process to get in a QA position in Sony, to be fair, but. Yeah, but he talked about his experience on it and how like the whole thing was like completely rigged. They had a winner predetermined ahead of time,
Yep.
And he was like actually trying to play the game and like yeah. It was the same thing with like the actual Squid Games where like they found out they're making the actual Squid Game competition and then it leaked that like, oh no, the Netflix people actually like picked winners for this thing and like people were sent home. And they were told that they had a chance of winning, and they weren't like cleared for the next round.
So a bunch of motherfuckers learned about reality TV shows, huh?
Pretty much. Who would have figured that the Squid Game reality show would have been just like the Squid Game fictional show?
See, we're not going to watch that. What we need is IRL. But listen, there's some uninhabited islands, and I'm just saying Hunger Games. Come on.
I just want them. Didn't I don't know if this is just like a rebroadcast, but apparently there's like new Takeshi's Castle for like most extreme elimination challenge.
Those were fun. They had the European version too, which was Games Without Frontiers, which I enjoyed watching.
I guess nowadays we have Fall Guys. That's basically the most extreme elimination challenge video game. Or Stumble Buddies.
Yeah.
Stumble Guys. It's not actually called Stumble Buddies. It's a better.
But Stumble Buddies is a better name.
It's a better title, right? Like, my wife is like going through like events because she wants to like go out and do stuff, and she's like, "Would you want to go see a Star Wars burlesque show?" I'm like, if they didn't call it The Empire Strips Back, then it's like, no, it's actually called The Empire Strips Back. I'm like, okay, then.
All right.
Yeah, all right. I like, because if it wasn't, then it's like, no, clearly, this is not.
An opportunity was lost there.
Yeah.
Man.
So I might come back in January with a review of a Star Wars burlesque show. Just FYI.
There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, reality TV. I never got hung up on reality TV. When it was like hot and fresh, what was that first series? Survivor?
Survivor. There was Big Brother. Big Brother was the other big one.
Before that, oh shit, let's dig deep. Was it Road Rules? MTV?
Real World?
Real World, yeah.
Yeah, and they had the spin-offs. Road Rules was one of the yeah.
I remember purposely just ignoring the shit out of that when it was on. I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah, I remember watching a couple episodes and like, I don't get it. This doesn't appeal to me. These people suck.
Now, the one thing that I never really watched, but I thought it was interesting, was there was an American adaptation of Big Brother, which was a German reality TV show. But the American version had it, and this was in the early aughts. We're talking like 2003, somewhere in there, where you could pull the cameras up online.
Yeah, the first series of Big Brother in Portugal had that too. They never
wasn't
worked
there.
properly.
Wasn't there a recent one on Netflix, like The Circle or something, that had that?
Mm-hmm.
I remember hearing something about that. I don't know. There's a whole realm of television online that I don't.
There was the
Fuck
fish
all
tank
that.
one that people on Twitter kept bringing it up.
The one where they kept drowning people in fish tanks.
No,
I think it was called Sleep with the Fishes.
no, that was the mob.
Are you going to expand on this fish tank one, man? Like, here's questions we have.
Again, I just saw people posting about it on Twitter, and it had the like reality TV funky camera angle, and just random people.
They just dump you in a swimming pool with a hose for air and say, figure it out.
Now I'm just imagining the deep.
Yeah.
Well, you're imagining that scene. Yeah.
Yes.
But yeah, no, it was called fish tank supposedly
which
because
one?
All right,
Which
fair
yeah, you were
disturbing
behind the
scene?
glass watching what was happening.
Oh, man, the boys.
It's not a season of The Boys unless you have a disturbing scene of the deep having sex with a fish.
Or some kind of sea creature.
Right.
Yeah.
Octopus.
Such a dolphin flying.
Or dolphins
You wanna
flying out
do
of a
what?
mini. That's a good show. That's a good show. Nice and wholesome. Family event. All right, let's go get some drinks, do some stretches, and we're going to sit down to a show.
Yeah.
Who needs to hop up?
I'm okay.
Also okay for now.
Like for now, like when I come back, we're going to hit record. That's why I'm asking.
All right,
Yeah,
then I'm gonna
we're
go
gonna be here
urinate.
for an hour minimum.
Then I'm gonna go urinate. BRB.
All right, we got that together. And I got all the scene set up. Yeah. I want another camera lens, Pedro Mateus.
Is that one a little too tight?
This one was just like, it kind of showed up. Yeah, to answer your question, yes. But I didn't ever plan on this thing showing up. So I was like, let's try my luck again here. I'll just put another $20 I bet on the thing. Cha-ching. Apparently people just don't want to buy these things. So I got a Vivitar 28 mil heading my way. It's supposed to look real cinematic. And then again, it's like super cheating because I have a Nikon DSLR, which means Nikon lenses from 1950 to current work on it because they're all off-mount. Don't need adapters or anything like that.
Frontiers.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, let me get drinks and all the fun stuff.
We're going to have fun.
The Jackbox 10 demo. Whatever that one allows us to play.
It's the 2 new games. I do want to try the typo one. That one looks fun.
Yeah. And yeah, the trivia one's like, yeah, more trivia, please.
Oh yeah, everyone likes trivia, right? Everyone likes to feel alternatingly smart and dumb and smart and
Yeah,
dumb.
it's like, yeah.
I hope it's, you know what? I hope it's a lot of categories that we know jack shit about, because it's always shitty when it's like Star Trek and it's like, oh come on. When it's all like Taylor Swift songs and shit, it's like, ooh. rack that brain. Is there anything you were exposed to that could give you a hint?
I've listened to some because it's Taylor Swift, and whenever she releases a song, it becomes terribly popular, whether it's good or not.
The only Taylor Swift song I think I know is that one where it's like trouble, 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 because it's the goat. Ah!
Yes.
Ah! Trouble, trouble, trouble. That's the only Taylor Swift song I know. And you know what? I'm all here for the goat cover. Ah!
Inspector Gadget's still going. I mean, that's Inspector Gadget. It was always Penny that solved everything.
I think that's the joke, Pedro.
Fair enough.
If not Truggy, you need to drink more whiteout.
That's an incredibly regressive. Yeah, Shake It Off. That's a Taylor Swift song. Yes, I remember there was that was basically on if you went to a mall or like some big shopping center type of situation. That was on in the background, always.
What is Jordan shaking off the best of them?
Taylor Swift songs.
Yeah, like I was saying, the only one I knew was the one with the goat, where it's like ah, ah, trouble, trouble, trouble. Yeah.
All right.
He might be a bumbling fool, but I'm the burning fool.
Well, it's a lot easier than trying to shake off potato chips.
Or glitter.
I mean, you don't shake off potato chips, you just eat them.
But how do you get to the ones on the bottom of your feet?
You pull a Stallman.
Well, you got to work on the flexibility, right? You gotta like.
Oh man. Okay. So let's go ahead and lay down the equation. Okay, considering 100% coverage with potato chips on your body, how many percent do you think you're able to eat without using your hands?
I mean, if it's 100%, you gotta use your hands at some point.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. What is the percentage?
Like, you have to like hold your hand out and like eat it.
Like, because you're still gonna be able to nibble at some on your back a little bit.
Yeah, like the top of your shoulder.
I don't even think I can get that much.
Yeah, I can bite the top of my shoulder. Yeah.
Yeah, I got that jacked person problem where if you stick like a Post-it note on my back, I can't reach it like at all.
And you got a flexibility problem. You need stretches, baby. Don't turn into the guy can't wipe his own ass. Yeah.
I mean at a certain point you can. Yes, but at a certain point, if you get jacked enough, there's just not enough room. I'm not at that point because I'm not a bodybuilder, so I have no desire to get to that point.
All right, everybody.
But I do want to add another 2 inches to my legs.
I'll put you a garter. Don't worry.
I want hems stapled to the side of my thighs.
I want to slap, but I walk.
To train your flexibility so you can suck your dick.
No, I know that I am not responsible enough to be an individual who can suck my own dick.
Humanity is not to be entrusted with such technology. It would collapse civilization overnight.
Yeah, no, that would be it for old Jordan. That would be the last you saw of him. Yeah, I don't need that power. With great power comes great responsibility. I'm not that responsible.
All right. Let's rock and roll, peeps.
All right.
I'll scroll back up here. LJC outro. Got like a little twinge of not even a sore throat. Like
I've just been congested all week. It's
what it is. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's seasonal bullshit change.
I feel my throat is dry, but I just had water, so that can't be it.
Mm.
Oh, I'm definitely getting that. Yeah.
Yeah, that is like waking up or laying down or something like, what the hell's going on? All right, what? Do I just blow my nose out? All right, fine.
Oh no, I don't even get even get like a nose blowing helping me. I gotta use like the nasal spray.
No, I don't fuck with those things because one time in my life, man, I was congested. I'm like, this is absolute bullshit. I'm done with this. I got up and I drove over to the chemist and I got some of that shit and I put it in my nose. My nose ran for fucking 8 hours straight, dude. Like I was shoving shit up it would not stop, man.
That's what I want. Just get it all out.
It didn't stop. It did never, man. Like I was like leaning back in the fucking, like I was doing everything. It's like, this is ridiculous. I was mad, man. All right. Record good on the dog. Record good in OBS. Not terribly lined up. Well, I'm like, here. I don't know.
You're just off center enough that it'll piss someone off.
Good. Awesome.
The shadow has to cover just exactly half your face. Or else.
Optimum. Hey everyone, welcome back to LinuxGameCast Weekly, the show that covers the latest Linux gaming news, reviews, how-tos, and most importantly, whatever the hell else we come up with. I'm Vin, joined every week by Jordan Svog and one Pedro Mateus, and you at home, Shot Realm Dynamic, helping us form Cocaine, Voltron. Gentlemen, when was the last time that you smashed your knee on the top of your breakfast nook? You know, your kitchen table, your dining room table?
They're a little too high for my knees.
I'm not a big sit down and eat person.
Oh, no, I wasn't sitting down or eating.
Where my knee gets smashed most of the time is getting into cars. If like the seat is a little too far up, I'll smash my knee like right on the airbag or like right on the glove compartment. That's always fun because then you're like halfway in the car and you're just like fuck, and then it's no good. Man.
I was cardinal sin on my part. I'd never walk around my house barefoot. I got hardwood floors everywhere. I clean they're dust magnets. I always keep them clean, keep them swept. But if there's one microscopic particle, and if I don't have on socks or sandals, I will find it, which I did. Coming out of the shower, I'm tooling around. There was something, I was heading to the kitchen doing something, and I stopped because something was playing on the tablet. I got sitting on that table. I'm like, what's going on here? And I stepped on something, like a grain of salt, just whatever it was. I'm like, what the fuck is that? So I'm not like hyper flexible, but I'm flexible enough to pick my knee up and like turn my foot around, and I'm watching the fucking tablet, and like, oh, what's going on here? And I'm just like reaching down and like grab that, and I was like, oh, fuck, oh, that's like a little speck of acorn or some shit like that, and put my knee down, and it caught right on the edge and the top. Just at full force. Now, to understand, this breakfast nook is a full-size, real, not imitation, whiskey barrel that has been cut in half, to give you an idea. It got scooted, is how hard I hit it. Like, it rocked its little world, man.
Did you hit it hard enough to break skin? Or
Oh, yeah, I broke skin, considered passing out for a minute, because that would have stopped the pain, I assumed. I was like, that'd be pretty dope if I just blacked out right now. And, no long-term damage or anything like that.
Oh, that always sucks though.
But
knees and shins, just like the random spiky.
It's been a long. That was always like, it has been a long time since I've taken a shot to the shin. Which is, you know what? Good. That's awesome. One of the things I want to touch on though. How are you guys with like customer service? Because I ran into a situation earlier this week and I'm trying to understand the psychology of a YouTube comment. So yes, I know. Feel free to just skip ahead, right? I'd done a thing on Firewire video, and guy hits back in the comments section. He's like, "Wrong!" Exclamation point. I'm like, well, this is gonna be good. Let me go get some drink here because it's a paragraph, wall of text.
Get a nice little lemonade to read your book with too.
Right. Right. And like, oh, just shoot this over to the Kindle. We'll take it outside, read it on the deck.
Yeah.
Just going on about none of this works. Can't make this work. Blah, blah, blah. I mean, just very squeaky wheel. Blah. I'm like, does this work when you actually have to deal with, a paid customer service type person that you're calling up and you scream and just do all that, and like maybe they take the stance of, oh, sir, of course we'll help you out.
So there are people who do that. Having been on like either end of the phone, and Pedro, I'm sure you've been on that. So, yeah. So yeah, so sometimes you do get the people who are just like super fucking entitled and are like, oh, this is terrible. I hate you and everything, and I'm not going to be helpful despite the fact that, and I'm just going to be super abusive to you despite the fact that just some random person on the other end making minimum wage or whatever.
Calling you up for assistance, effectively.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. Help me, you son of a bitch. And yes, and depending on like what your level of position is, I've been fortunate enough that like I've been in like tier 2 and tier 3 positions where it's like, yeah, no, goodbye. But sometimes if you're like level 1, or if you're like you're a junior, sometimes you're stuck dealing with that person. You're told no, you deal with it and then you escalate.
Yeah, I'm just trying to figure out the psychology behind it. Like this, there has to be a strategy that this person has implemented at some point. Fortunately,
it's the Karen thing. Yeah,
like if I just scream loud enough and tell you it's all your fault, you will be inspired. Yeah,
you will be compelled to prove your own point and try to prove me wrong.
I will intimidate you into doing the thing that you are being paid to do.
So I think the moral of the story: be very cautious when you're applying this strategy to a topic that maybe 7 people on the fucking planet has the information to help you out with.
I wonder because we were talking about this in the after shows and about people needing to work retail jobs. Yeah. I wonder if people who do this have not worked retail jobs. They've never been on the other side.
I have to assume,
or maybe they have, and they're like letting out their frustrations. Oh, they did that to me a bunch of times. Let's try.
Yeah, man. Maybe it's transference.
Unabridged jackasses. Now, fortunately, I was like, this name seems familiar because I try to keep track. Because I do a interfacing Linux audio series where I cover Fire. This was a FireWire topic like here, and I have a bunch of the old knowledge that I built up. I'm like, that name seems familiar. The same video 3 months ago, this motherfucker had written another thing. I'm like, hey, this isn't working. And I asked him a very simple question that he never replied to. So I was able to write back. I'm like, I tried to help you 3 months ago. You never replied, period. And that's all you will ever get. I can solve his problem. I know what's freaking wrong just by leaving that description. I could solve your problem, dude. If you're watching this, fuck you. LGC cares. Have fun. There's not another YouTuber that can fix that for you. How about you, Jordan?
Well, I didn't have much in the way of like negative interactions with customer service or anything like that. Today, I got to drive to Hamilton for an hour. Well, it was supposed to be an hour drive, then we got stuck in traffic. So it was a lovely afternoon of furniture shopping and black metal. So that's my story for the afternoon.
Furniture shopping. Well, we have to touch on that a little bit because we have such a short show this week. So let's
yeah, sure. Let's spend more time talking about my end tables for my living room. They have a shelf and drawers, and they're perfectly flush with the height of the couch, so you can like use them as like table rests and stuff.
Are you guys getting like antique stuff, new stuff?
No, just used. It was like 50. It was like two for like $100 of like these nice wooden like drawers.
Did you smash your knee into it? See how it
No, that's coming in a few months. So okay. I'll give you the knee review in a little bit.
Right. Pedro Mateus, since you're here.
Hello.
Hi. How's it going?
That's all right. Actually,
I see your roll of tape is not behind you this week.
Yes, it's been used. Not all of it, just like a bit. But yeah, no, myself and Nori took turns with the drill and the sending discs on the headlights of the car. They look magnificent. Well, if you get real close to them, you can see there's still some discoloration on the top. But they look, from a distance, they look brand new. So, good job, AutoClim. Those instructions, on point.
Are you planning on flipping this car? Are you just like souping it up, and then you're gonna turn it around and try to sell it for more?
No, I want to drive as nice a car as I possibly can, so I'm gonna fix what I can.
Oh,
and
man.
Nori was just raring to use the drill to get the headlights
Imagining
looking
you the
pretty.
entire time.
Oh yeah, everyone. I think everyone likes playing with the drill. I think that's like a universal.
It's a
human
power
thing.
tool thing. Yeah, it's like
I straight up forgot to mention this to either of you in the pre-super shows, and go back and listen to that if you're a Patreon. But I'll go ahead and give you this. Somebody, a production company, like no joke, I checked them out. This is legit. Has offered us money to train their AI on our podcast.
how much money?
Not
Scientists are shocked that they've created the first suicidal AI.
What they needed was something that we're in a unique position to hand out is 10 years worth. Because you think of a consistent language model that we have, but what they wanted was they were under some assumption that I archived this shit. And they found this because I post a dry, just the unprocessed tracks to archive, and I post them on our podcasting to help people out because people are looking for that audio to play around with and learn how to mix. And that's how that person tracked me down. He's like, I run this, and like I just don't have it. If I did, I think it was something like $5,000
That seems low.
Yeah,
for our entire discography.
Yeah, and like what, like we would need some like real points on the back end type shit if like that was for
It was explained
$5,000
not to be. I'll forward you guys the email.
Sure.
I was like, this is too much. Plus, it doesn't matter because I don't have things archived in WAV format either way, and that's what they wanted was like the dry multi-track without any processing to train whatever. So womp womp.
We're gonna the P in GPT will soon
All
stand
I'm
for
saying,
Pedro.
yeah, unfortunately, Cortana will not be getting slightly more unhinged.
I mean, I don't know. Play those Halo games. It's gonna happen anyways. That's kind of her plot arc.
We have Cortana at home. We call it the horse.
The horse will not respond to any of your voice commands, though. It'll simply jiggle at you in judgment. It's the Steam Oh my god! Steam Deck 2, you guys! It's here.
here.
It's coming
Guaranteed.
out. Oh my god!
100%
20 gigs of
verified.
RAM, GTX 4090 Ti embedded in the board.
And we will absolutely be having the real conversation of like, remember when we were joking about the 20 gigs of RAM and the
and the built-in VR display and the and the soft serve ice cream
coming
machine.
since August, and no one noticed. So there was a basically Valve just put through the FCC application for something that used a different Wi-Fi chip that the Steam Deck currently uses, and it basically went unnoticed since August, and now people have started to pick it up on that because, well, there's the rumors that Valve may be working on some new hardware thing. Now it seems to be the Steam Deck is getting a new M.2 Wi-Fi card. I suppose that technically counts as a refresh. And it's better than changing, integral components of something and not saying anything. Samsung, SanDisk, etc. People just changing parts of SSDs without telling them. Yeah.
You know what? You want to throw Samsung under the bus, but they replaced their out of stock part with a better part.
They still changed the thing.
They changed the thing, but they like used the part from the more expensive drive for their cheaper drives. And you're like, curse you, Samsung.
Yeah, it's like when the gas station runs out of regular fuel and they just give you premium for the same price.
How dare you? You know there's that person though, man.
Dude, I did that once while I was working at a gas station. People got mad. I'm like, but it's better gas for cheap.
And it will mix with your current gas.
Sir,
just
sir,
won't be
just
full
one
premium.
moment, sir. Let me finish this YouTube comment, and I'll deal with you in a minute.
This YouTube comment in the gas station, yeah. But the new Wi-Fi chip is supposed to be a lower power one. They're trying to say like, hey, they're trying to get through the FCC thing because they're like, hey, this is a weaker chip than the one we shipped originally, so you shouldn't realistically have to recertify it, right? Question mark.
They got to try, right?
They got to try.
I mean, yeah, Wi-Fi 6E, that's great. I mean, it's going to be better because one thing you constantly have heard people about, the speeds of like transferring libraries and downloading stuff on the Steam Deck's not that great.
Especially over your thing, though.
Over your local. Well, apparently Valve might disagree.
I think Valve just don't want to deal with it anymore. It's just, let's just use a different one. How's that?
Possibly, but you know what? They do make the point. Like, this is one way to like slide everything through. You never know what we might end up getting, because we've talked maybe not a week before last. I think old Loopy was like, "Yo, we're not doing any like serious hardware upgrades to this, but we can most definitely see something like OLED screens." People would be. Because one of the things Valve said they were really surprised about was that their top-end Steam Deck sold out the quickest. They were like, we didn't expect that. So, there's a little bit of mindset there at Valve. Like, we can make these, people are willing to pay more for these if we throw some extra bonuses on there. And I could see a new screen, possibly Valve wanting to go ahead and get ahead of the game and making a more easily serviceable battery, one that's not like super glued in.
That would be very good. Yes.
I was just thinking, even like going with just a lower power Wi-Fi chip, maybe they're just like swapping out a bunch of the components with lower power equivalents just to better extend battery life. Like it could just be something as simple as that. Like,
I mean, more than likely, that's why you don't need to get super excited. It could just be this one chipset change, but it would also be a good time if you're doing any type of hardware changing to, like, if you got some other things planned, just go ahead and slide that through too.
It'd be really nice is if they managed to like negotiate a little bit more space for the NVMe, so you could stick a bigger drive in there. That would be nice.
Yeah, just have like 2242s instead of just a 2230s.
Nope, 3.25 SATA.
No, we need a floppy drive. We need to feed Skyrim floppy 1 of 3000. Insert the next floppy disk.
What would be your okay, you're not going to get a change in the performance, but what would be like the dream feature? I'm going to ask either one of you, because you have Steam Decks. Like, what would be the quality of life thing that you wouldn't maybe necessarily buy a new Steam Deck for, but you would be excited to be like, oh man, and when this Steam Deck dies, I can't wait to
swappable battery.
I have a few. It's the battery absolutely, but also the fan. Instead of having a single loud fan, maybe have two fans instead.
Water-cooled backpack accessory.
Yeah.
Something that would, make less noise, so that I could actually, while Nori is asleep, I could keep playing without the fan going.
The fan is kind of a nuisance, if you're playing in bed with someone else.
Yes.
That's why you got to hold it on top. Put a pillow right there.
Yeah, put a pillow on top of the person you're sleeping next to, and then they can't hear it anymore.
And the last one is the screen. I absolutely want, instead of like I know that they picked the 1280 by 800 because cheap. There were a bunch of them from tablets that, the cheap tablets. They were all 1280 by 800, so fair enough. But if they can find an OLED 720p, proper 720p, 1280 by 720, with the variable refresh rate, or let you set down to 40 hertz, same as this one does, that would be perfect. That would actually be perfect.
Maybe some like contactless charging stuff. That would be nice too. You can just like drop it on the thing, or I don't know.
Hot swappable battery.
Yeah. I want a slidey thing that clicks.
I want my D-cell battery add-on for my Steam Deck.
Yeah, no, a USB Type-C port on the bottom wouldn't not go amiss. Yes.
No. Everybody's fine with a little hangover dongle thing that plugs in. Yep.
That's why you get them.
Nope, yeah. You can't use that, Pedro. Everybody told me I was crazy, but I was like, that's stupid. When they first announced the dock, and I'm like, that's a bad design. They're like, like, yes, What's me on this?
Yeah, this would kind of be a performance bump, but like some sort of eGPU support would be really nice.
Technically already could be done. If,
I mean, dozen of people would be excited about it.
Yeah.
You know what? It's not necessarily that you want to do it. You just want to know that you could.
To have the option, right? Like extend the life of it like a little bit.
Look forward to the reports showing up on the Steam Deck. I was like, does not work with my Riva 128.
Does not work with my Intel Arc 580. Oh, spoilers.
Oh, stay tuned.
The USB 3.2 Gen 2x4 port that the Steam Deck has.
You know what, Valve?
Is
fuck it. Let's live a little. Give me a FireWire port.
not many FireWire, full size, extra chunky.
No, FireWire 800. I'm happy with that. Just confuse the hell out of people. They don't even know what it is.
Or
No, just
get
have, like, the
Intel
OG
to let
GameLink
go
cable.
of the Thunderbolt thing and just have Thunderbolt and stop with the USB naming.
Oh man, I think it was Tech Tangents that showed up. Apparently, in an alternate universe, they do exist. There's a FireWire thumb drives, which makes sense because that thing would be ludicrously faster than USB 2 the entire time USB 2 existed.
Believing intensifies.
Proton is something that you can play on your Steam Deck, and there's a new version, 8.0-4. A couple of things in there. The big one that stuck right out to me is something that I'm being blind to, and I can't find it on the way straight. Here we go. This is quite unfortunate. They fixed Street Fighter 6, claiming that Proton players are always connected via wired interface. I found this to be infinitely amusing because I watch a couple of people who stream Street Fighter 6, and that is like a big thing that they do, is make sure that they're not matched up with people on Wi-Fi.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they just don't want that. So you peasants on your Wi-Fi, you're just going to have to go back playing with your own kind. And with due concern too, no matter how much rollback the netcode you throw at it, brah, Wi-Fi is just a shit thing for competitive gaming, WebRTC, streaming. I look forward to the comments on the YouTube video. I'm like, no, it's loading. Not
buffering, yeah, circle.
So that was definitely a thing. And another thing is they've kind of continued going ham with the NV API, enabling that for a gang of new things, up to and including Ratchet and Clank, which is good to see. And Warhammer 40K, Darktide. Pedro, what's the NV API? It sounds like some hippie moon stuff those Linux weirdos use.
Yes, if you're not aware, by default, Proton just straight up lies to your game. If you have an NVIDIA card or an AMD card, it doesn't matter, because Proton is always going to tell the game, no, that's an AMD card, shut up and take it. And the game goes, okay. And it works well for a lot of things, and they did that at first for compatibility's sake, but as it turns out, there are quite a few games that do expect NVIDIA-specific things, so you have the option to enable NV API for those games.
Because they're trying to use things like DLSS.
Yeah,
the RTX stuff, effectively.
Yeah,
yes.
there's a bunch of like the driver space stuff that is exposed via NV API in user space that a lot of the newer games are taking advantage of.
An NVIDIA card, you probably know the moon glyph for the command line option already, because you could also set it
in the Proton config file. You could just
Didn't
enable
know that.
Yep.
What stood out to me is apparently Dwarf Fortress got a fix of all things in Proton. You would think that would just like run perfectly fine, but apparently no.
The
Also,
Linux version, is it out yet? Because it was delayed. They released the Windows version first, and it's only out now, or it's now out in beta, something like that.
This is a danger to the alternate universe where people like sliders takes place. Again, if you slid into this and Dwarf Fortress was not available on Linux, you just have to keep
still
going.
available on Linux.
Hold up. Can we slide to the alternate universe where I'm Jonathan Rhys Davies instead?
No, you're a traffic light.
Damn it. But speaking of old games, KOTOR 2 and a bunch of other old games, like EverQuest 2, no longer are going to be required to be running under experimental. You can run them under plain Jane Proton, which is nice.
That hits very strange, man. One of my roommates, I think it was my second roommate in uni, he was addicted to EverQuest. That's all he played. Then he immediately switched over. He tasted Eve, then he immediately went into Warcraft.
Yes.
But his thing was like, I'll run Linux, but I got to be able to play and I spent multiple weekends trying to get that to work with wine back in the day, and never could. I lost one. I couldn't convert him. This was back, early days when you were still trying to convince people to run Linux. I thought I'd share that story. Yeah, go to hell. It's pretty good. Visibility.
Visibility, yes, that's always been one of the complaints of the Steam client, and people saying, I can't get my game to be seen, probably because it's not very good. But yeah, it's Valve have always been very, very cagey with what actually affects visibility of your game, what pushes it to the top of the rankings, what puts it on the front page. So they released a video that they had to make because of the rampant misinformation, because Valve wasn't sharing exactly what was giving some games more visibility.
I mean, if you replace practice with advertising.
Yes. But yeah, it is Valve basically just had to go, okay, this they put a video together to show like the different bits of the front page, what is curated, what is algorithmically upheld. Yeah, they use curated as something different, and algorithm
generated, algorithmically collected, algorithmically presented.
Yeah, something to do with algorithm, and they do say there is no one algorithm. There's multiple ones. So yeah, it is very broad strokes. The video is very broad strokes, and they do a breakdown of like the different areas of the front page. Okay, this one is curated, you have to hit certain things, and this one, the algorithm picks it up because people who play the same kind of games you do, so that goes up to the top based on your own things. So it is a necessity, and it's a watch. There's not any kind of particularly juicy information, but at least it's something.
All right. This thing's 25 minutes long, and I said watch the whole thing.
Yeah. I couldn't do it. I tried, but I had other shit to do.
I took one for Team LinuxGameCast. I'm like, okay, I need to have some data points on this other than video go burr. So, what do we got?
Algorithm go burr. That's the point, apparently.
Things that are not a factor in your store ranking. Some of them kind of surprising, though. A little bit. Page traffic. How many people are visiting your page? Valve don't give a damn. Like whatever. Few, many. Review score sometimes doesn't affect the algorithm. Now, when they say sometimes, they make it a point to say it will affect recommendations. So the recommendation engine will not be as quick to recommend it to people who are enjoying that genre if you don't have, neutral to positive reviews. Another thing, I like that they blew this fucking myth out of the water so I can go back to wish list. All right? So, yeah, that because, nothing drives me up the wall. Like somebody going, I'm upset with this developer. I've removed it from my wish list. I'm like,
to be fair, that does affect one of the charts. It's like the top upcoming, the games that aren't actually released, that is based on the amount of wish lists. In fact, that is the only metric that affects that.
Show me that in writing.
That's what they said in the video.
Show me in the
I need
closed
it
captions.
in writing, Pedro. I did not make that clear. I don't need it in the video.
In the Google-generated closed captions.
Jesus,
Valve didn't do their own.
I think it's one of the links in the description is the Steamworks website to the visibility, which is basically the breakdown that they did in the video, but in text.
So another thing you got to do is early access. That's not going to help you with if you put your project into early access. That's cool. Valve wants to make it very clear that's for you to prototype your game. You're not going to get any extra marketing mojo out of that whatsoever. And that's also going to prevent you from showing up on the new and trending category when you're in early access. You can't have both. Keep that in mind. Now, the one thing that will most definitely 100% affect that little steamy algorithm and promoting your game is localization.
That makes a lot of sense, actually. Like,
they put a point on it. And they're like, that means more people from more countries can give us money.
Yeah, people who will we will sell the games to people who can actually read and play the games.
We get more of those 30% cuts if you make it properly local. Just don't use AI, by the way, for Valve. Yeah, really, that's Valve. I mean, I appreciate you having to make this very surface level thing, but I think anybody serious into game development and is familiar with Valve, familiar with Steam, familiar with how the game's played. This is a 25-minute long video with no explanation, no real explanation of how things actually work, because Valve can't do that. Because the second they do that, people will immediately start gaining the absolute hell out of it. Sorry, Jordan, I wanted to finish my sentence.
Sure. Also, algorithm go burr. A lot of this is, as Valve is often wants to say, they do a lot of experiments with like the Steam like Steam Workshop experiments.
I don't think it's as bad as YouTube. YouTube, I genuinely do not believe they understand how it works at this point.
No. Oh yeah. YouTube is a complete black box. I would say that like Valve is like 50% black box. There is a transparent component, and then they hand it off to the algorithm, and then that does some shit.
And I also want to point this out. Let's get some sample sizes here. Valve recommendations suck. They fail hard. I've never had a recommendation from like, oh, because you've liked this game. I'm like, what the hell is this foot sim? What are you talking about, man?
They also mentioned that in the video. The tags. That's what they use to make those recommendations. If you do like the queue thing that they have in the store, where they just give you 10 recommendations and you grade that. It's like, I like this, I don't like that, so on and so forth. Then it will tune the algorithm for you on what recommendations it makes. If you never do that, it just goes off the tags.
So
you played a game with these
tags? I remember doing that when it was originally in labs.
Mm-hmm.
And still eat shit.
And
like now, if you never do that, it just goes, oh, okay, so you played a game with, RPG, action, adventure. Okay, so I'm going to show you just games that have those tags, which are
just Dark Souls clones.
90% of them.
Again, there's also an audience disconnect because like none of us like spend a lot of time in Steam, looking through Steam, engaging with the community. There are people who do that, and I don't know. For me, a lot of game discovery comes from just the media, not from Steam itself, but from like developers going out to like Let's Players and saying like, "Hey,
Twitch
stream
streamers.
my game." Yeah, exactly.
YouTube videos.
YouTubers.
Yeah, and to your point earlier, that's where your advertising budget needs to be. You need to get people playing your game in front of other people so they can see how fun it is, or how fun it isn't, or if it matches up with.
If you want your takeaway from this is no amount of like buzz is a replacement for foot on ground, talking to people, being part of a community, posting on Reddit, posting on getting in contact with Twitch streamers, YouTubers. And more importantly than all that, you gotta have a fun game.
Yeah, it's got to be good.
It's got to have a hook to it. I mean, and this is why it's like very super critical to make sure that you get feedback from outside of friends and family. Because friends and family don't want to hurt your feelings, and they're going to tell you like, "Oh, that's impressive, that's excellent." And then when it hits, contact with enemy, they're like, "This is dog shit. It's completely broken. What were you even thinking about?" You're like, "Oh, nobody said this."
It's writing 101 too. Don't be afraid to kill your darlings. Just because you have the perfect idea of something doesn't mean that it's actually going to work when other people engage with it, right? Sometimes it seems like a really good idea, and you're 100% that like, no, the children are wrong. I'm right. No, it's like no, you're wrong.
That makes sense.
Sometimes you will just get shit luck because you will release a game that is good. And you will have done the marketing, and you will have done everything, and you still get no visibility.
We've all seen it. Everybody listening, watching, you've run across that game on Steam. You're like, this is a polished AA looking thing. It's got a great soundtrack. It plays well, and it's got like 53 reviews.
Mm-hmm.
You're like, what happened here? Because I mean, that is my first reaction. I guess I should say for me is like, what went wrong?
It's like, what did the developer do?
Right.
What happened?
And a lot of times it's nothing. It's just the fact that there are too many games out. Like the great thing is there's going to be something that will scratch your particular itch, but there's just so much.
And we have like the mystery fail games. Remember that the racing painting game on Linux?
Oh yeah, where you like paint the track and
it was again like AA. Well, had a soundtrack, had a character they were clearly working on, something just disappeared. They just quit updating it. We'd never know. I mean, it's not as fun as Crazy Justice, which I still want to know the full story on.
It's crazy.
That was clearly someone looking to make bank out of fig.
I guess that was a weird bump and dump. All right, so let's talk about a couple of the new games that have come out this week on Steam.
Baba, no, don't pull the lever.
It's a trolley. Dilemma. That's right. Not a dilemma, a dilemma. This is pretty cool, man. This was originally created as part of the Ludnum Dare 50, with the theme being delay the inevitable. Like, okay, that's pretty dope. And games about the trolley dilemma have existed forever, since the inception of the concept of the trolley dilemma, but they usually take the form of text adventure games. And, Python little games, and you can find them all over GitHub and around. But this one's a different take, This is throwing a GUI on it and arranging tracks to save people and confuse trolleys. So I'm pretty down with that. If you're watching the video version, yeah, Jordan's 100% spot on. If you like the Baba art style, this was, I don't want to say, you have parallel thinking, and maybe inspired by Baba. You wouldn't feel out of place if this showed up on, like, Baba DLC is what I'm getting at. Also, it's made in Godot. And on top of that, native Linux version, completely free to play.
Yeah.
And it's open source.
Yeah, it is very much Baba is less about the moral quandary and more about just the ideal outcome. Because you are just looking to avoid killing everyone.
See, I want Baba murders 5 people to save one, or Baba finds a way to murder all 6 people simultaneously.
Well, that's my thing. My first thought is, like, how do I maximize the murder here?
Yeah, that's Michael from The Good Place. It's like, I have a solution. You stick a machete at the end of a stick, and you ride the trolley down one, so you can decapitate all 5 of the other ones while you're running over the first guy.
Yeah,
I solved it. But yeah, this is a short game though. They're saying that it's going to take about 30 to 45 minutes, depending on how smart you are. So, but again, for a game about like fucking around with the trolley problem, probably has about like 30 minutes of value.
I want that to be added to the Baba Is You page. This is a short game taking around 30 to 40 minutes.
I still want to try Baba Doom. I didn't try that one.
Baba Doom, what's that?
Yeah, where they just straight up made Doom in Baba Is You.
Oh, jeez. No, man.
They have like a mod for like a first person block, so you can be like Baba is first person.
I have nothing but respect for games that just flat out lay it on the table that they're smarter than me, and that is one of those games. Like, I will gladly watch Jordan and Sandy scream and suffer. I will not touch that anymore. Like, you've already hurt me. You've hurt my brain.
Or like some Steven Sausage Roll shit of like, why is this game $30? Oh, because I'm not going to be able to solve it within like, this is a hard fucking game.
You'll get $30 if my puzzle's smarter than you are out of this. I'm like, yes, you will.
Yeah.
No.
Yes.
A genre that's kind of
this game is better than me.
Over the years, something we don't see a lot of, but it's not completely gone. It's dungeon crawlers. And if you come from the DOS ages like myself, you're like, those were amazing back in the day, because we went from text adventures to some graphics, one frame at a time. But it was very immersive, all things considered. Ludus Mortis wants to continue.
Death game!
Oh, dude, did you listen to the soundtrack for this game?
No.
Dude, it is pretty OP for the genre game, man. It's pretty fucking intense, man. This is a new game from the minds behind Seventh Circle, or the mind behind. Turn-based, of course. Background music for that Steam trailer, as I said. It is heavy even for the genre. Also, the dice don't animate when you throw them. I noticed that. I'm sorry. Now, the plot of this, and it's your dungeon crawler. You click through the dungeon and you swipe and you kill the things. This involves a Roman Senate and necromancy. So
Necromancy.
It's going to 100% involve going. It's going to have dating sim elements. Guaranteed. So,
yeah,
it looks legit for the aesthetic that they were going for. Yeah, really.
Yeah, no, I'm always down to see more Eye of the Beholder likes. It is certainly like a genre of game that has its fans and is certainly kind of obtuse. I have some nostalgia for it. I played a lot of like Eye of the Beholder and Pool of Radiance back in the day because I got them all cheap. I talked about it in the pre Super Chosen. But yeah, so I'm always down to see more of this stuff. And yeah, it looks pretty cool, honestly. Pedro doesn't.
Yeah.
Pedro's a party pooper.
Look, I'm really glad that we've evolved past these dungeon crawlers and onto full-on action RPGs. Yes, the Elder Scrolls, the Dark Souls.
Would you like it if you could dodge roll in this game?
I was about to say, what if they have a roll mechanic?
I would like it if it was like Morrowind. Just let me have the freedom of movement. Let me have my agency as a player. For all their flaws, Dark Souls and Elder Scrolls did a very good job moving the genre forward. And as much as I liked Legend of Grimrock, And I didn't like the fact that they decided to drop the Linux version for Grimrock 2, otherwise I would have played it. But that was a novelty. That was, hey, it's a retro-inspired game, but with modernish graphics. I wouldn't necessarily want to play more of it anymore.
Well, I think if you update the game systems and you add like modern conveniences like auto mapping and like lore being directly implemented into the game, I think like a lot of I think no. You just gotta get the Neuralink chip in your brain, and you can just like enter mist mode.
That's where you're messing up. I'm putting that Neuralink in my toes.
I put it up my butt.
Okay, so no spinal tap, toe tap.
My toes will be shifty as hell, man. They will hack your shit. My toes will be wearing hoodies.
Oh no. I'm gonna leave that one alone and talk about Jackbox Party Pack 10, the newest game in the Jackbox franchise. Fun little party games, mini games for you. Hopefully this one can break the streak of having 50% games that you play once and go, yeah, let's not do that again, and some remakes of some classic ones. We're getting a new TKO. That's a solid game, so I'm a fan of that. The typo fixing one looks like it could be fun, and that's one that's included in the demo that we're going to be trying out after this done podcast is recording. Yeah.
Yeah, I do like me some trivia though. They have the new trivia game. That one I want to try.
That's a Jackbox Party Pack with a 10 after it.
Mm-hmm.
Gotta go back in time.
I mean, if they keep doing it and introducing just enough stuff, even if it is just half the games, people are probably gonna keep playing.
I would like the Jackbox Ultimate Pack that just has like all of the games in like one thing, as opposed to like having to like remember like, oh, Jackbox 3 has Fibbage 2 and all that other crap.
Oh, is that the death knell when they finally decide, no, we're done, and they just release the one game with everything?
See, this is one that you would think would better support like a DLC model, where you just like every year we would just release a new Jackbox.
Well, both of you seem to be unfamiliar with the like release model, because not only do you get the party packs, you also get the individual games available for purchase piecemeal, which is a time-honored tradition with the Jackbox.
Mm-hmm.
What you can do if you can't wait, you just buy the entire party pack. You just wait around, and they'll eventually drip out individually, and they'll be like, $4.99, $7.99 or something like that.
They all have like unique launchers though, like it would each start up in their own like
they're individual games. Yeah.
Okay.
So, if you're wondering, with the demo, it's still 720p when you go to windowed mode, but it's choose your own adventure. You can slide that around and move it around. Native Linux ports, no worries there. And, everything's vector these days, so you don't have to worry about the pixelated graphics. What do you get in the demo? As Jordan said, you don't get the TKO. What do we get? We get a rhythm game and a typing game, which is apparently some type of battle royale typing or something.
Interesting.
We'll find out in the after show, but we need to talk about 3 minutes to 8 because Hipster Pixels done hipster pixeling.
Yeah, this is bills itself as a mind-bending pixel art adventure. The short version is that you're going to die at 7:57 p.m. and you have a certain amount of time to undo your fate. And apparently every time you play the game, things can go out, happen differently. So the idea here is there's a lot of different permutations that you can go through. Gives you a lot of replay value. It's got a demo. I didn't get a chance to play it this week, so you can check it out and see if that is something that is your speed. It's certainly trying to like obfuscate what it is about. All the advertising copy is like redacted, and there's like weird broken clock gifs that they stole from LinuxGameCast.
Someone really liked the SCP Foundation, yeah.
Yeah.
Have you ever sat back and thought to yourself, man, I really want to play as David Tennant in pixel format? Then, well, shit, and there's your Cyberpunk 2D right there. What's this thing going to cost? We don't know, because it doesn't come out until the 23rd. Aw.
That's a couple of weeks. It's fine.
What is it?
It's a point and click, though.
Processor.
So.
Of course it is.
It's an adventure game.
What did you want? Action RPG?
Needs more dodge roll.
Battle Royale?
I could do without the Battle Royale.
What if it was like a Twitch FPS?
The RPG, the
I could say the same thing about Cyberpunk if you give me enough wiggle room. I don't know.
You could apply the action-adventure genre to 99% of video games.
Maybe you're looking at it. I like the aesthetic of it. It's got the look. It looks the business. If you like something like what was the clown game from Thimbleweed Park?
Thimbleweed Park. Yeah,
If
more
you
like
like
Beneath a Steel Sky.
things that are done that well, you will probably appreciate this. It's got a demo.
Mm-hmm.
Go play with it. Share your thoughts now.
Mild swearing.
Mild swearing's acceptable. Up next, Nori Ya. Yeah. Noria. It's the Gold Project. Venture into a frantic Metroid. Oh, I love it already. Metroidvania. You fight, you got a sword. Listen, this is Stabavania. Don't let the intro art. It's hipster pixel, but stay with me. Stay with me, because it's kind of fun. I mean, it's 100% slashy Stabavania. There's a demo. Go download it. Go play with it. Controls are absolutely serviceable. I played it with the X-Clone 360. No way to get rid of VSync. You need to fix that shit. you got a action fuck you hard platformer. I need to be able to cut off VSync, please. Now,
the graphics kind of remind me of Dead Cells a little bit. The art style.
It's got that blasphemous kind of theme going on with it. Very well done, except for all the enemies are like shadow types. But hey, it sticks with the art style.
One way to not have to do character design.
The demo is Windows only. So you download it. It thinks it's a Linux, but it just links to an empty Linux depot, so you still got to smash that Proton button. Fine. The movement, really fluid. It's very fast with the attacks. Your pixel antagonist is a wee small. There's no zoom there, so you're kind of playing this little wee tiny person, which is, I guess, is all right. And
you get a little scarf to make you not character blind.
Yeah.
It's the Red Scarf DLC. It's
I mean, you're exceptionally tiny compared to the rest of the screen. And I got about 20 minutes into the demo. I didn't rage quit from it, but like after 20 minutes, I didn't see any like upgrades or anything to that effect. I'm like, I kind of want something to keep me interested, to keep me going. So this thing's not coming out until November 7th. And it's still early access. They've been working on it for a long time. Hope it works out. Look, you can click and add to your wish list, and
it does nothing. You lose. Good day,
Can you
sir.
imagine that? Somebody like, do you know how long it took me to make that GIF? I have a theory it's all been the same GIF, just getting reprocessed over and over and over, because you look at them these days, it's looking rough.
This is quite the bit rot.
Yeah.
Copy of a copy of a copy of a copy.
Yeah. So if you're a fan of Hollow Knight, that's always my metric. Try this out. It's not Hollow Knight. I pray to Flying Spaghetti Monster they don't price it out of existence by making it more than Hollow Knight, because you got to work that into the equation of like, it's more than, is it better than Hollow Knight? No, then people are just going to fucking buy Hollow Knight. Keep that in mind. All right.
Although probably the people who are going to buy Hollow Knight at this point probably have.
No, they're not going to buy it until Silk Song comes out. That's they put their foot in the ground.
Never going to buy it then. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, if we get a super fine point on it, I mean, somebody's going to always compare it against, I don't know, how can we simplify this enough for Pedro? Like a Dark Souls type game, you get your gold standard for what a Dark Souls is priced at, yes or no?
They're all technically AAA games, yes. The Dark Souls propers, yes.
Truly is the Dark Souls of Castlevania.
So do you have your Dark Souls, like, what's the going price for a Dark Souls game, Pedro Mateus?
On release, they're AAA price. Nowadays, if you want to get the Dark Souls remastered,
there's a number coming at some point.
Yes, it's about $20.
$20 for a Dark Souls game?
For the Dark Souls remastered of the first one, yes.
Okay.
Dark Souls 2, you can probably get Scholar of the First Sin for reasonably cheap. It goes on sale often enough. The Dark Souls 3 is still a bit weird, because I looked at like 2 months ago and it was still
I've looked it up.
£30.
Don't worry about it. $60 for Dark Souls 3. That's too much.
Yeah, like I said,
that's launch price.
AAA pricing.
$39 for Dark Souls 2. Then we got all the DLC and stuff like that. So let's say there's a new Souls
and Darkfall, Lost Souls,
like Lies of P. Does Lies of P have to be more or less than $60, Pedro Mateus? Like before it could get on a radar? of yours? Like,
I mean, if it's more, it'll immediately go on the radar because people will ask, why is this more expensive than Dark Souls? But it's, I guess since the game is considerably shorter, it is probably less. Yeah.
I mean, everything costs $59.99, $69.99 now. Extraneum doesn't.
Extraneum does not. In fact, Extraneum is £10 exactly.
Man, it
so
looks it.
It's cutie doom. What are you talking about?
Yeah, it's getting ready for 1.0. They say that they've been working on this for a while now, and they released the interim episode during Realms Deep, which happened last weekend, if I'm not mistaken. And you can play like the interim episode, and they will have episode 2 finished at some point, and the proper 1.0 version will be coming out next year, which I very much enjoyed. Yeah. I very much enjoyed what I've played of it thus far, and I'm not going to play anymore until 1.0 is out, so I can play the whole thing. So it's a Linux native boom shoot. It's nice. It's very nice.
Yeah. Expected to be coming out in quote unquote May 2024.
Mhm.
They're given the end of the year, which is only like a couple months away, for the release of episode 2 if you want to try that out. This one's been on the store for a while, and it's like I don't know. It seems like it's been in early access for a good long while. Maybe I don't know. Do you think it's worth it for like episodic games to be in early access?
No.
Would it make more sense to like release episode 1 and just be like, hey, and episode 2, 3, 4, whatever is coming later?
Yeah, if it's episodic, just make it episodic. Don't double dip on the early access.
Like episodic's like somebody wants it like piecemeal. Like there is a market for the people who just can't wait. Like you're gonna get those nibbles, man. But like, how much feedback do you really want? Like if you're like that fluid with your story, right? Unless you just got like a hard plan laid down.
I don't know. Does Extraneum have a story?
I don't think so. Is it episodic?
You're a security officer at a corporation, and then shit goes down. That's the extent of the story that I've seen.
I mean, a lot of early shooters are just like, you are a shooty man. Have gun. Go shoot.
No, some motherfuckers. Sometimes you get a pet rabbit.
Sometimes they kill your rabbit. Yeah.
And then the aliens come to Earth and they kill your rabbit. Yes.
Yeah, but that was the sequel.
Listen, man, the 90s were a different time. It was tough. It was tough to be a protagonist with a gun in the 90s.
Was it tough to be a professional wrestler in the 90s?
Not really, no. All things considered. I mean, much better drugs. What do we got? Check this out. Is it a bird? Kick its ass. Patch 1214. Our audio listeners, this is going to be kind of surprising to you. Gang Beast. Yeah, right? We're talking about, like, this game's been around literally forever. It really has. Double Fine was actually the publisher of this game up until 2020. Then something strange happened at Double Fine. Then they no longer were. I'm not sure. Anyway, Bone Loaf was the original creator for this. Still are. Turns out that they used a bunch of scripts and tools from the Unity Asset Store to make this game. Which should come as a surprise to no one if you've played it. And they're like, yeah, it was good for rapid prototyping and getting everything stuck together. Then they just shipped that, put it on the store, and it's kind of been there ever since, completely unbombed.
They handed it to a bunch of contractors. I was surprised when they were saying, like, yeah, there were a lot of external development partners, which means they didn't really do much beyond the initial phase. All the new networking, all of the bug fixes and stuff has been from a contractor, which they have switched now. And now that has done, they're saying that more updates are going to be coming soon, I guess.
Well, this new patch brings a bunch of those new updates, and everything's going to be welcome with this, because what Gang Beast has been, every time, like, it's barely a semi-functional pack demo. Always has been. Jordan, did you know this, though? What? Gang Beast ships its own standalone server.
I did not. That's good to hear, though.
Credit where credit's due.
Well, being able to play the game even after the master server goes down is very good.
Well, like, especially considering that, like, a lot of the Unity, like, networking stuff is just, like, using their built-in shit, right? Like, so, like, having a dedicated server option is certainly a non-standard thing, as far as I'm aware.
The only thing I worry about is, as to what Jordan pointed out, having a bunch of external developers, like, they can't really promise anything with this. It's just whatever they have available and the people that they can get to do it.
Yeah, apparently they did re-engineer a bunch of their backend though. They have like CI and they have automated testing now. So they're saying hopefully now that all this stuff is in place, they can better iterate on stuff and they'll have an easier time when they need to switch contractors again, as opposed to just, taking the money they ostensibly made from this game and hiring.
Right. Having your own team. That's weird when you hear of like developers.
Right.
Like, do you have anybody like, no, we're the idea guys.
Yeah, we farmed it out to a dev shop.
Yeah.
That
sounds expensive, doesn't it?
A little bit. It sounds expensive and unreliable. That's usually my experience with that sort of contracting is like, yeah, it technically works, and then you stop watching it, and then it immediately crumbles.
This next update we can technically talk about because they open sourced it.
They did. Quack. They have update 1 coming out for Quake 2, the Beth Mastered Edition. They've added some stuff like quick saves and online co-op, which is super handy because we need to cheese a lot because we die a shit ton. Also, in multiplayer versus, spawn furthest by default is enabled. Is that a thing that we can enable in co-op? Because we've been, periodically in the after show, we've been going through Quake 2.
Part of the charm is dying 19 times.
19 times once you load into the new map. So
yes.
Can we like fix that, please? I looked through the notes. There's like, this is the closest thing I found to a mention of that.
Oh shit, look at this. You can play PC and Xbox consoles on the LAN.
Just don't do Wi-Fi versus wired. You're gonna have a bad
force
time.
them to play with a controller and wreck their ass.
Yeah.
Pedro, what have they done to my baby?
The railgun damage, it was increased, so it now jibs things properly. The thing that stuck out to me wasn't even the railgun, it was the trespasser. The berserker. They finally made the berserker a threat with the new jump attack and how much damage it dealt and how big the area of effect was, and even if you jumped, you still got, even if you didn't take any damage, you still got knocked back a little bit. It was a threat. They made the trespasser a threat, and now they've nerfed him again. What the fuck? Can you just leave the poor berserker alone?
Listen,
it was too hard.
Yeah,
and unlike From Software, they're like, don't get good, we'll fix the game for you.
You could have left it and just added a dodge roll mechanic.
That's all you need for like Pedro to be happy. Like dodge you could be playing Cooking Mama, and if you add dodge rolling to Cooking Mama, he would be so pleased.
Isn't there a roll move that you can do in Cooking Mama?
No, it's something you can serve,
but you don't dodge.
I have a recipe for my dodge roll.
Yeah,
dodge rolls.
Dodge ram rolls.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. Maybe Quake 2 is just a little too new school for your taste. You want something a bit more retro.
You want something that's full-on 2D looking like 3D. Like Duke. And this one is Ion Fury, actually. It's the new Aftershock
how low can
expansion
I go with
pack.
the video? There we go. 144p, baby. There we go.
Oh my god. Hipster Pixel.
Yeah, the new expansion for Ion Fury is out. Again, another thing that came out during Realms Deep. Seriously, Boomer Shooter Con. If you're not, if you like boomer shooters, you need to watch Realms Deep. There's always a bunch of really nice stuff coming out of that. And this one brings stuff like you'd expect expansion packs to do. There's another campaign. There's new weapons, new enemies, new zones. There's a range mode, which it lets you play with the new stuff, the new enemies, the new weapons, everything else, but the original campaign. So that's I'm kind of curious. Did the fine folks at Void Point go down the realm of obsession to balance the new weapons and the new enemies on the old levels? I wouldn't put it past them, because attention to detail is something that they do very, very well. But at the same time, you might be just woefully overpowered going through the original campaign with the new weapons, so worth a shot.
I grew up playing these damn games, making levels for these damn games. I'm done with these damn games. I played that game when it first came out, and I'm like, I played this game before for hundreds of hours. I'm good. But
you can get a 10% off right now if you're not done with the genre yet. It's £10.25 here for just the expansion if you already have the game. I was done
with this genre for the 90s. We're done.
I like boom shoots. I like boom shoots.
I'd moved on. Quake.
Quake's is a boom shoot, yeah.
I was thinking about fully 3D games. I should say tech-wise, because I was making more maps than anything else. Jordan has no opinion on this.
The thing I made the most maps for was Neverwinter Nights. In fact, there were a couple of servers that had quite a few players that had a few areas done by myself.
Oh, man.
I made a lot
How
of
long did it
StarCraft
take till they
maps
shut
back in
down?
the day.
Mostly until the
still
original master server for the original game shut down. That's when those servers went away.
How many servers are still up for Neverwinter Nights?
There's a bunch on Steam too. So
yeah.
A bunch of servers on Steam.
Yeah, they
give you the dedicated server with the game, so you can just run your own.
Yeah, and it's accessible through like the Steam intranet, right? Because you can
that's
register
pretty dope.
Yeah,
that's
you can
pretty.
You can right-click join people. Yes.
Well, if you still have a crippling Neverwinter Nights addiction, Intel has made a card that just might be able to help you out, because that's about all the A580 is going to be able to give you. That and fucking Elf on the box. That Elf better show up on the box video cards or you're dead to me. Arc 580. This card is meant to fill the cherished, the ever sought after price gap between $139 and $239. And this was official.
Yeah.
Yes, Jordan's fine.
It's just like right between that A380 and that A750. You know, people have been champing at the bit for that. Like, I need slightly more than an encoder card that can push.
This is why this has been such a massive decline in GPU purchases over the past several months, because of this particular gap. Now, officially announced last year, we were told about this way back in the old times. And I'm like, yeah, this is going to come out. Well, here it is. 185 watt card. Now, originally it was going to be 175 watts, which was still a lot for this low-end card. And they've decided that we're going to have to put an extra 10 watts on top of that just to get it up to make it a competitor. They'll tell you about, Pedro will tell you about what it competes with in a minute. What do you get? You get 24 Z cores and 24 ray tracing units, along with 8 gigs of RAM, though, so that's not going to be bad, and 512 bus widths. What is this thing meant to take out, to take down, to eviscerate? Pedro
it seems that they're trying to go for the RTX 3050 and the RX 6600, the non-XT version. I know what the 6600 can do because that's Nori's GPU. And yeah, that's as new cards go, that's a very good value to performance right now. And the RTX 3050 actually trades blows with the GTX 1080, except in DirectX 12 games where it's like twice as fast. But, you know, Pascal.
Pascal. Yeah, and like don't you worry. Nvidia isn't shaking in their boots. They have plans for an even weaker card than the 3050.
We could go weaker.
6 gigabytes with 92-bit bus.
Oh man, what an odd sentence. There are reports suggesting that Nvidia is working on an even less powerful RTX 3050 model. Like, why would you report that? Why would you announce that?
I don't know.
But there is some good news too, is that there are more 770s coming. So if you want a 16 gig Intel card, there are going to be a couple of new AIB manufacturers that are going to be making them, and at least they have drivers this time. Oh,
I mean,
yes. Have been around
look at this though. You got to look at this. I mean, for anything with Intel, at least they're throwing a wrench into the monkey, because look at the memory bandwidth on these damn things. Their basic bitch budget card. And we're not counting the 310 and the 380. Those things are laptop parts. Starting with this 580. 512 gig memory bus on this thing. 8 gigs of RAM. And it competes with the 3050, which is really the 2050.
3040.
100. Yeah, it's fucking antique.
8800 GT.
Yeah, I guess they don't even have to compete on the whole. It's technically only powered by the PCIe port because even Nvidia's given up on that. The last one to do that was, well, they do have the new
4060 low profile.
No, the 4060 still requires the
You're talking about
power
PCI
connector.
Express only?
Yeah, no, it's one of the Quadros. It's the Quadro something.
The Quadro. It's HHHHHHCH.
Yeah, it's the most powerful PCIe only powered GPU at the moment. And before that, it was the 1650. So that's the level of performance we're dealing with if you want just PCIe only. And there's absolutely a market for like the $150 price range. That's where the 750 Ti was priced at. That's where the 1050 Ti was priced at. Can we go back to that?
No.
The A2000.
Jensen's leather jacket needs to feed on the blood of orphans, and those orphans aren't cheap. But speaking of, the market is in a good place right now for NVIDIA, where they can release these weaker cards. Or not NVIDIA, sorry, Intel, where they can release these weaker cards, and like their competition isn't that great, so they have some breathing room, they have some time to catch up still.
It's not even a competition problem. That's not the problem anymore. It's neither AMD or NVIDIA want to
cater to the low end market
at all. Period. Like that's dead to us. Because why? Because they got a taste of $1,200 freaking video cards.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they got a taste from that with crypto. AI is now sucking up those cards as well. So yeah.
Yeah. What's your bill of material with that? Well, we saw that with the A770. About $350 for 16 gig card to ship. That's everything baked in. Do you think NVIDIA even has to spend that much money to ship out a 4090? No. No. So, yeah, you know what? It might not be the sexiest thing in the world, but you got your 770s and below, and we got Battle Mage. It could be a very respectable, more importantly, affordable, low to mid-range solution going forwards. And everyone running out and buying $900 and $1,000 NVIDIA cards, more power to you. That's awesome. I don't have a problem with it. But for the rest of us plebes, it's good to have that option. And you know,
if you look at the Steam hardware survey, the most popular GPU still is the 1650. So come on, we need a little progress on that.
I would like to see the ARC crack into that. It isn't even broken out of other GPUs yet, so no. I would like to see a little bit of progress. We need that player 3. But
well, hey, I mean, it does boil down to be the change, though, right?
Speaking of, there's a change coming up in Mesa that's going to improve not your Intel Arc performance, but your Alder Lake iGPUs.
Improve the performance of GitLab?
No.
Damn, that site's slow.
Oh my god. Let me just go on man, GitLab has like so many open feature requests that are just like, here's some basic shit that we would need. And they're like, yeah, we'll get to it eventually. But anyways, this is from the GitLab from freedesktop.org from Mesa. Links to all this stuff in our show notes. But they are adding sparse Vulkan support for Alder Lake iGPUs using what was it, the T-TT on the Gen 2 GPUs, which is Alder Lake iGPUs and Iris GPUs. This is necessary to actually get DirectX 12 running, and with it, they have actually gotten some games working. So that's nice. There are still a lot of folks out there with just laptops with iGPUs, and like being able to play any games at any performance level is a win for that. So it's nice to have. And maybe this will trickle into the ARC stuff, but I'm pretty sure these are unrelated drivers.
Well, you never know. I mean, having more eyes on the problem and like looking around, as demonstrated in our pre-super shows, and we're not 100% on what drivers the ARC uses. We just kind of got guesses.
Jill,
I know it uses ANV for the Vulkan bits. Mm-hmm. So, yeah.
And we also
what drivers are your new video card using? Tell us.
A 770 is going to run you at 350. Like, I really thought they'd be about $200 on a part.
Yeah, we played that game in the pre-super shows, and it's a collector's item now.
Mm-hmm.
Pedro, you're both angered and confused by bottles, so this story's right up your alley.
Not particularly. In fact, I think Bottles is a good project. It's just that I'm at the point with Lutris that's like, okay, I understand Lutris enough that I'm willing to use it. So, and then Bottles shows up, is like, oh, okay, there's a new thing that does something similar, but for wine exclusively. Cool, all right. Well, now they're doing something even more. I want
Play on Linux to kick in your door and be like, what happened, man?
Jython, baby.
It hasn't been updated in 12 years. Something like that. It's been a while. It's the Bottles team. They have Bottles Next up and coming. And they apparently they decided, you know what, the Stark GTK based GUI that they had was not good enough, so they made a busier one. And they took a lot of inspiration from the Steam grid layout and the legendary games client UI. They look very, very similar. And they plan to restructure how Bottles as software works at a more fundamental level. Not only just for the prefix management, but also to separate the GUI client from the underlying bits. Which at that point, that just seems ripe for a Lutris integration. Just have Bottles as a runner in Lutris. That would be peak open source right there.
We're offering those two usage modes. This is the big thing that's coming with Bottles Next, is that there's going to be the next mode, which shoves everything into one bottle and lets you have and has some minor isolation stuff, which, but it's just to simplify everything. And then there is the legacy version, which is how it works right now, where you can have individual prefixes being managed. I don't know. Do you think they'll be able to sort all the issues with running everything out of the same prefix? Because usually that's why you set up the secondary ones, is just to keep everything isolated.
It depends on how they want to go about it. Like, do they want it to actually do that, or do they just want the end user to have the experience that it is being run out of one?
No, that's what they say. They do say that it is just going to be a single prefix, and that the legacy version is for managing multiple ones. So,
although there is a way that you can set up. Let's say a game requires some DirectX overrides or something, and another game that just straight up doesn't work if you have those overrides set. There are ways you can have those DLLs outside the prefix itself. In fact, Lutris already does that if you enable DG Voodoo, because the DLLs are actually in a separate folder outside of the actual wine prefix.
Oh yeah, I'm sure there's a ton of environment variable manipulation stuff that you could do with LD preload and all that stuff.
Oh,
yeah. So.
It's just hard to sit back and think about what is the best wine manager in 2023? Steam. What? Who do you think is going to be the first to get something close to because here's what Valve got right. They got right the fucking play button. Is this going to give you a closer experience to I just want to click go. And then your game starts. And we also have to remember our brothers and sisters on Mac. That's becoming more and more of a tool for them as they realize that, you want to play your games? Well, you're going to have to jump through some hoops these days, because it's like the old days. If you go read the Mac gaming subreddit, it looks like Linux_gaming from 5 years ago. It is some sad, miserable people, very excited about anything that they can get. So I'm glad that this is also working with Mac.
Strider brings up an interesting point about how Lutris handles Epic Games Store, or the game-specific stores like EA Play, where each store has their own distinct prefix, but they share all games owning or belonging to that store under a single prefix. So I don't know. This may just be an artifact of we're old wine users, and this is how it used to work, but they fixed it now, so it works better.
The less I know about how wine works, the better job everyone's doing.
It's that XKCD comic, quality of life compared to how many times I need to open my xorg.com.
Yeah.
Yeah. I do not have the time, desire, or energy to fuck around with wine like I did even 10 years ago. I have no interest in doing that. I'm very much I just want to play the game. Can't play the game? Fuck the game. Very simple equation. I'm not alone in that.
Proton's done very good for that.
Yeah.
Indeed. So why don't you take a seat? You're using Unreal Engine 4? Why don't you take a seat?
We need to talk about the Unreal Engine pricing changes. A little bit of bug. Oh, look at Pedro's waifu up there.
He looks so sad.
Announcing that they're letting go a bunch of people. Yeah.
It looks like he spent the last night sleeping on the couch because his wife kicked him out of bed.
Now, if we're being fair, that is kind of what the dude looks like 24/7. Now, Tim Sweeney has made an announcement, a couple of announcements, says the company has begun running into a couple of financial problems about 10 weeks ago. And, he gave this little talk, and, this comes after laying off like 900 employees. We talked about that. So Unreal's got some changes. The engine itself, they're going to be switching over to a per-seat pricing model for non-game developers. Kind of important to throw that in. And they were very clear, like, don't worry about this. Also, that's going to be going into effect next year, which is not very far away. Unreal is going to always, for the time being, until further notice, remain free for educators and students, so no worries there. But you got to think about this.
Got to hook them early, still. First one's always free.
Right, isn't that right, Apple? Get those,
Yeah.
You got to think about this so how does this affect anything? Every Disney show that you've watched is using Unreal. It just is. And a gang of movies. It's turned into like a big tool for VFX and production.
Prototyping as well. Automotive uses it quite a bit.
The industrial side of things, it's huge. VR. And all of that. And
yeah.
I think this is kind of big for Unreal because all of those studios, they were effectively just using Unreal Engine for free. Just download it.
They're saying that they're primarily looking at like applying this pricing model to things that like don't sell units. Games ship units so they can collect royalties. Their existing model doesn't account for that. So if you're not going to be making a thing that will ship units they can take a cut off of, then you got to pay potentially per seat or per site.
Per seat, like Adobe. And I'm very sure that they would like to graduate this to software as a service or some model along that. But I think somebody at Epic, because we talked about this a couple of weeks ago, Epic's got a couple of revenue streams, but I think somebody just made the point of like, when Forknife goes under or takes a big dip, like
that's it.
That's the company. And they don't want to lean on that. They want to have those additional revenue streams. And that's a big gaping, as I was talking about a couple of weeks ago, it's like it's a dipshit business model where they have that set up. It has to be propped up with something else because you have all of these companies. You have Disney, for fuck's sake. That little
companies
upstart.
with massive amounts of money just not paying anything.
Right.
Raspberry Pi figured that shit out. They went to Disney and they're like, "Hey, why don't you cut us a little check here and we'll take care of you."
Oh man. So yeah, if you're a game developer, you don't have to worry about this. But I want to posit this video because what do you think? I kind of got to feel like this announcement probably also included something for game developers as well until Unity just went out and scorched earth that idea.
Yeah, they point that out like the very first sentence is, okay, everyone's kind of aware of the Unity runtime fee thing, so here's the thing, this doesn't affect the gaming side very much at all, and they are also very quick to point out the EULA that you have to abide by is the one of the version of the engine you're using. That's it. You don't get to magically be affected by a new EULA that you didn't agree to because someone removed the EULA from the GitHub repo.
So someone updated the EULA to say that we can amend the EULA at any point and then removed it from the GitHub repo. But like, to Vin's point, Fortnite has been propping up a lot of the Epic Games stuff. And yeah, for now, these sorts of restrictions are going to be applying to non-gaming applications. But I imagine other stuff like free games and all that stuff is going to start going the way of the dodo as well as Epic continues to tighten their belt.
Free MMOs and whatnot, yeah.
Yeah, they were trying to drive traffic to their store by giving away a bunch of free shit. Maybe now they have to actually invest their money in making their store not suck.
We could sell some more hats, Jordan.
Maybe.
I don't know. I in my heart of hearts, I believe that like this type of announcement, that entire announcement, the beginning of it had to be rewritten. Like, okay, so we're not going to do anything with game developers right now. That would be very bad optics.
Yeah.
However, I'm very much inclined to believe, as I'm sure as anybody sitting there, there's probably some changes coming for the game dev crowd for Unity. Right. It depends. It depends on how the spiral is. They're going to squeeze where they can squeeze. They're going for the obvious one right now, the one that anybody's looking at. Like, why aren't you charging for that? Oh, But then again, it's kind of a smart move, give it away for free.
Yeah,
Get it embedded,
again,
get an ecosystem built around production houses using it, and they're like, that's going to cost you now.
No, it costs you money.
I mean, it worked relatively well for Unity up until they tried to change the pricing too aggressively.
Well, they wanted time machine pricing.
yeah, right. That's it, right?
Right.
They got the Mr. Fusion and the DeLorean loaded up, and they're just like, we got to go back in time.
That's going to be studied by MBAs of like, okay, this is where the fucking line is. Because you know what? They could have gotten away with it, and they're pesky dog too, if they hadn't have even mentioned retroactive anything.
Yes.
If Unity had come out and said, all right, next version of Unity, anything made for, people would bitch, people would be angry. But it wouldn't have been anything like what we experienced.
Mm-hmm. And I still think
they delved too deeply.
I still
think
they made the really greedy first push to see if it would stick, and when it didn't, it's like, okay, let's go with the reasonable one that we actually wanted to do in the first place.
Well, it backfired tremendously, right? Like, I don't think any new projects.
They killed the trust in the company. Yeah. No one fucking trusts Unity right now.
Yeah. And it doesn't matter what they say. Because it's like, well, we've just proven that we're going to just change our minds whenever we want. So,
and we're willing to dick everyone over.
So another thing before we get done with the Epic topic, I want to bring out Steam Spy Creator. I've heard of him.
Sergey.
Yeah.
Sergey.
He's just like, it's my last day at Epic Games. He's been there for 8 years. Helped build Epic 4.0, and he's been, it's like, I had a good time, launched Fortnite, became one of those self-reinforced. He didn't expect all that. Now Epic Games is on its way to transforming from a game developer, engine creator, and publisher into a platform, Epic 5.0. I'm not a good fit with this version of Epic. It requires people of a different kind. So, he just kind of left. He's like, I don't like the way things are. Maybe he doesn't.
Yeah, I don't like where this is going.
He doesn't think he's compatible with it, or would be of.
Yeah, maybe they just are out of data for him to scrape.
I don't know.
He does say that he wants to stay in the games industry, so very much looking forward to what he does next.
It would be very interesting if Valve gobbled him up. They're just like, hey, why don't you come over here?
You want to make that Steam Spy thing official? Yeah. Come here.
How long has it been since Steam Spy worked?
Couple years. They changed their API, right? That was
it's been dead for 2 or 3 years, right?
Yeah.
They made it. It was when they changed how you could see the games that people had to only when people made their community profile public. So anything that was friends only or just private, couldn't see anything out of it. So that basically skewed the numbers a bunch.
Oh. All right. One last thing before we get out of here. Or before we get to the email. Never mind.
The J-Dungeon. It has nothing to do with space rhinos at all. Every time I see that, I want to say Jadoon, but it's J-Dungeon. It is a open source MMORPG done in Godot. It is still heavily in development, though, and unlike a lot of the other MMOs we talk about lately, this one is not browser-based, so you will need to run a client and you will need to run a server if you go to their GitHub page. They actually say you need to start 2 copies of the game from the Godot editor, because this is still very early days and they don't have dedicated client server packages. So you're going to need to run a client package and a server package, and if you have the server up, you can have multiple connect to it and play around and do your top-down third-person RPG stuff.
I like their description of with its top-down 2D perspective, it offers an immersive gaming experience. We have radically different definitions for immersive there, buddy.
I know.
What is your definition of immersive, Pedro?
MapleStory Plus.
Explain being immersed.
When you can forget that, you are the human playing the video game, and you actually start thinking, okay, I need to go there, instead of I need to steer my character to go in that direction. It's like, I want to go there. And being a game in 3D and having the first person or over the shoulder third person's a lot easier for me to get fully immersed in a game.
What if the character you're playing is a car?
I mean, I guess I have one of those like working imaginations, so I don't really have that problem, I guess.
I don't know. Apparently,
I think everybody's got a functioning imagination. It's just like how much of that you're willing to suspend in order to enjoy a video game.
Well, that's
games
disbelief.
that you don't really need immersion to enjoy to any degree.
I don't know, man. I gotta be pretty immersed when I get my cookie clicker on, man.
I mean,
and then there's games that do such a good job with the environment and telling that you don't have to imagine a whole damn lot, like Baldur's Gate 3. Like,
or
they fill in a lot of the
AD,
dots there, right?
Where you can imagine a world, yeah. But again, like, I think immersive is like a very, very personal thing.
Subjective,
yeah. And like, because like for me, immersive is more of like a narrative thing. If I'm like invested in the characters and I'm invested in the world, then I consider myself immersed, rather than say like I fully feel like I'm incarnated as a player. But that's because I am more of a pawn stance player than an actor stance player.
Okay, so given your previous recorded opinions on MMOs on the show, Jordan, would you be immersed in J Dungeon?
Maybe if it had a good story. I haven't experienced it. I haven't experienced any of the characters. I could very well be immersed in the world. If I care about the fucking NPCs in the world, then I consider that immersed.
You take something that looks like what it looks. Also, you need to put some videos and screenshots. You demonstrated that you understand the importance of this on the Go subreddit, and I know you're also the type of person who's going to watch this in the future. Hi, how's it going, LGC Cares? Put this shit on your GitHub page too, okay?
I'll just say people get really, really upset about their Stardew Valley boyfriend or girlfriend. That's immersion.
So, I mean, even if it looks like this, and you start this, and the first 3 seconds, a TARDIS crashes in front of you, and a T-Rex gets out with a lightsaber. I think
that's your pull request?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
I might be a bit more immersed. Like what I'm saying, like you can get away with a lot. Like it's not really, for me, it's not about graphics to a large extent. Talk about Baba Is You. Was I immersed in that? Pretty fucking much. And look at something like hipster pixel boomer shooters, like Ion Fury. Like I could get immersed with that 36 years ago. I can't get immersed in that these days. I'm just like, I'm looking at pixel art. I'm like, yeah, it's pretty cool looking. I'm like, it doesn't sell it to me anymore,
Yeah, no. Again, there are games that I really enjoy that I know for a fact I don't get immersed in them. Fallout 2, my all-time favorite game. I can never get truly immersed in that because the maps are hex grids, so your character can't actually do a straight line down the map. He goes X X X X X. So that always, even if I got immersed in anything, that it would immediately put me out as soon as I started moving. But at the same time, you also have my second all-time favorite game, which is Silent Hill 2, which, yes, that did very much immerse me. That was the first game that I genuinely... No, that genuinely made, like, the hairs on my back stand up, because it's like, okay, this is legitimately good psychological horror. Good job.
So, moral of that story, everybody, is Nori, wax that boy's back.
Wax it good, or get like the lace,
slowly,
or like the hair,
tenderly, but more importantly, slowly. Make it count. Hey, if you want to tell us about how you get your back waxed, you can do that by heading over to LinuxGameCast.com. We'll get a contact button. You'll never guess what it does. That's right, it takes you right to Disney.com. No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. Not this week. But it will give you a couple options. Like, hey, if you're working on a game, you're working on a project, you want to come tell us about it, love to hear about it. You want to come on the show? Yeah, that'd be awesome too. If you're working on crowdfunding, Kickstarter, if you got a demo, then scream in our direction. If you don't, then come on, don't. Because I'm not going to say you can figure that out, because some of you cannot fucking figure that out. If you're going to be sending us a press release, there's an email there. If you're just going to continually spam me with fucking press releases for shit that's unrelated to Linux, I'm going to unsubscribe, so don't waste your time.
What about CNC? What
yeah, there's a lot of CNC machining. So your molds are ready. It's like, hey.
You know what the entertaining thing is the Google News recommendations for valves.
Oh, okay. For piping and plumbing, yeah.
It's pretty fucking entertaining. So we got 2 this week, starting with somebody giving up. They're going away, Jordan.
Yeah,
They're leaving us.
Ariel or Ariel, I don't know. I have a cousin named Ariel. Well, see, I have a male cousin with that name, so I don't even know anymore, man. I've almost given up on Linux gaming for now, but I do enjoy listening to the podcast nonetheless. Very good show, game controller emoji, horns emoji. Keep it up.
Why?
Don't give up. Just keep smashing your head in the brick wall, man.
Let it go.
That's how you go through.
The dream's dead.
Break on through.
Straight back to DOS with you.
The question is, what was it that's draining your Linux gaming ability?
What's the YouTube comment? Let's be honest. I like including those every now. If I don't know, my guess is probably never installing Linux in the first place, but it seemed like a good thing to.
all I play is Destiny and Fortnite, and therefore Linux sucks.
There we go. Yeah, that's the ticket.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean, there are people like that. Some games you just straight up can't play on.
Fortnite is fairly popular with the youths.
Why the app to that person? Like, and I don't even say this is like a snarky, funny horror thing that we do on the show. Like, the fuck are you doing not playing on a console? Like, if those were my games, I'm like, I would have a PS5. Like, I would not go through the trouble of setting up a gaming PC to play those 2 fucking games. No?
Yeah, you'd get the laptop to do whatever and have the game's console.
Yeah.
So some people are very romantically attached to the notion of PC gaming. Some people just have a computer that they like to play video games on.
I don't have enough imagination for that.
Oh, I believe in you. Just gotta read more books.
Fuck trees. All right, what do we got up next?
We got budget. Yeah. Asking about budgets. They say, my fellow Linux gamers, I'm in the process of building a new PC with a tight budget. Are there any good websites where I can buy used parts? What do you guys think of eBay, Pinterest, and Facebook? Any parts that I should avoid?
What the fuck are you buying on? Do they sell shit?
I guess there's a social aspect in Pinterest, yes.
I don't know about Pinterest. I know Facebook Marketplace. That's been like a thing forever. I don't want to get scammed. I've heard horror stories about people buying used parts that were broken or fake. Yeah, that's kind of the risk you run with secondhand, right? You got trust but verify. Get them to plug the thing in while you're picking it up, right?
Like, especially if you're going with Facebook Marketplace. That and Gumtree, if you're in a country that Gumtree supports. You're very much at
what a loss that fucking bet. There it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. 775, baby.
And eBay, I personally do a lot of my secondhand shopping on eBay, and yeah, the thing on eBay to look for is if you have a high value item like a graphics card.
What the fuck is Pedro? Do you know about Pinterest?
I know
That's
Nori
binary.
has a Pinterest account.
All right, so like I'm here on Pinterest and I'm like, hey, give me that, and it's like, no, go to eBay.
Yeah, they seem to be pulling the listings from eBay.
Oh shit, son!
Oh, there we go.
You want some USB 3 holes?
Damn,
Daniel.
That's
I know.
mining board.
I know Pinterest is like a Tumblr thing, so people like will share links through Pinterest. So maybe that's what that is.
I have no idea. This is as deep into Pinterest as I've ever been, man.
Yeah, you just use eBay, and yeah, if you are looking at a graphics card or something high value, look at the amount of karma, whatever it's called on eBay,
stars or some shit.
Yeah, they have the little stars, which is.
Do they have comment karma and post karma on eBay?
No, it's effectively like the feedback that you've received. Only the positive counts. It's feedback ratings. Yeah, just look at the ratings for each user, and if they have like triple digits or up, then you're probably okay. If they have 0 ratings and they're selling a GPU, that's a scammer.
That's risky. I can only speak to eBay. eBay, you're safe no matter what you fucking buy, at least in the States. eBay will 100% side with
just
you.
look for the guarantee money back.
Do not. Now, my bit of advice, only pay through eBay, because what Pedro's touching on, scammers, what are they going to fucking do? They're going to slide in them DMs and be like, yo, here's the thing. I'm going to need you to send me the money over this.
Venmo or whatever.
Something other than PayPal.
Mm-hmm.
To which you go,
send me a check.
Right. Some shit like that. And that's part of the scam. I'm a little bit hesitant to order from anybody with a, like low, if you see like a price that's too good to be true or borderline too good to be true, that's when you want to start doing things like, how long has this account been active? What is this account history? What do they typically sell? Because I'm more worried about like ending up with like stolen merchandise. So kind of keep that in mind. What do you not buy? CPUs are, damn, nothing I say is true. There we go. Done. CPUs are typically safe.
Yeah, I wouldn't buy drives. I wouldn't buy used drives. Refurb maybe, used no.
With NVMe drives, okay, you know what? NVMe and SSDs, I absolutely would if they listed how many terabyte
worth of writes they've had.
Right, because that is something you can easily check.
That from Smart.
Yeah.
Right, you can pull that up, and same way with NVMe drives, because the refurb that I got from Amazon, that 2 terabyte drive, NVMe drive, pulled it right up. It's like, yeah, this thing's been, I was curious about the fucking story because it had been rebooted like 36 times, but it had only had like 4 gigs written to it. I'm like, what the fuck were you trying to do, man?
They probably had it in the computer for 36 boots, but they only ever like dumped the folder on it and left it.
It's like, I couldn't figure out like with those clues. It was like, God, I understand how it got returned because that doesn't make any damn sense. But
someone call Batman. We need the world's greatest detective.
Right. Reasonably, like, you save a couple $100 on a video card. Stay away from deals that are too good to be true because they're always too good to be true. There's always something hooks up.
Motherboards are okay usually.
I say that to be hesitant, but I'm on the lookout for that. Like, that is my top priority. Safe search is that Epic motherboard, and like eBay is where if I find one that's used, I'm still going to buy it. If I can get one for $300, I'm going to fucking buy it. But I'm going to use that eBay. Make sure you order through eBay, through PayPal, where you get that coverage.
Would you do used RAM?
Yeah. But the problem is, like, with memory so fucking cheap at this point, you might as well just go ahead and get the new shit with a warranty.
Right? Like, yeah, like if they're selling it, like, what's wrong with it? Right? Like,
sometimes, especially with like desktop RAM, it's just, okay, I had like 2 sticks of 4 gigs and then I upgraded. So they're selling newer RAM. So
or it's like,
or maybe you need older RAM.
I had 2 sticks of like 3200 megahertz, but I bought like 4 sticks of like 3600 megahertz, and I just wanted to replace the whole kit. Sometimes you get that, but like,
and then you get like a part, resellers and stuff where they just have bins of RAM, right? And they're like, how many kilos do you need?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Can I buy a bucket of
laptop RAM? Especially DDR3, you can get that, in bulk.
Yeah. They're like, there's like, how many bags do you want? No, we don't. No, we just fill bags and send it to you.
Now I'm just imagining like going to Bulk Barn and they have like one of like the scoops with like just laptop DIMMs. You just
get 1 kilogram of DDR3 SO DIMMs. There you go.
Right. They got original recipe.
they got to look it up on that big wheel they have with all the prices. Like,
I guess I'd buy motherboards.
Power supplies?
No, I'm going to buy power supply with a warranty.
No. Power supplies is probably fine. Buy them secondhand, but I would avoid that. That's the one thing you don't skimp because a bad power supply will take everything else out.
Yeah.
So
cases are probably fine. You might want to give them a
case
call.
goes out of the window. Wasn't Facebook included in this? Like, okay, if it's somebody like locally and you can go inspect the item, all this shit goes out the window. Like,
if you can see the item before you actually buy it
and use it, not just see it. If you can bring whatever you need to bring, or you can go there and they can demonstrate that it functions. Don't be like, some dude's like, because they get a trench coat in my head for some reason, a fucking parking lot pulls out like a 4090 and they're like, yeah, man, $300. Like, no, you got to be able to.
He's absolutely the incognito mode man in my imagination.
Oh, yes, right. Then you need the fucking moral decision, multiple choices to come up. You're like, shit, I do verify it. It is a real 3090. The guy wants $300 cash.
Are they going to send the Pinkertons after me? That's the real question. Are they gonna pull a Watsy? Is Jensen gonna come knocking on my door and be like, I want my card back?
It's situations like that, just back the fuck out of it and be like, nah, man.
He pulls out a gun. He's like, you're not leaving until you buy this video card.
But yeah, one of the things to keep in mind is, especially on eBay, if you filter by just items that are pickup only, and you have like a card that you can go pick up the item, those tend to be so much cheaper.
They're cheap, dude, because nobody wants that human interaction.
Yeah. those actually tend to be much cheaper. Like, if I was looking, it was AIOs, just because I saw some YouTuber talk about AIOs, and I figured, let's look at the price of that thing. And if I wanted to order one, it was £300 used. If I wanted to go pick one up, I could pick one up working for $100. So,
yeah, generally it's the ones who want you to come pick it up are genuinely just trying to get rid of it. The ones who are going to mail it to you are trying to sell it. Like,
and a lot of times you'll run into things people just don't want to be asked with shipping. Yeah. And as a seller, you don't want the other end of like the person ordering it and they're like, I didn't get, I got a rock in mine. And like, no, you didn't. So I understand it both ways. Just use basic caution. That's all there is to it. And Amazon Warehouse. If you want to play eBay with a safety net.
Yeah. eBay with even more guaranteed refunds.
Right. Of like, just, it's that risk reward though. You got to play that. I mean, that's also part of it. Like, I get a little bit of a buzz when I get a really good deal. I'm like, yeah, did good. Can't believe I got that for that. But
I like the whole, the starting bid is £20. Okay, here's £20. And then it finishes like you won. Oh, wait, really?
Yeah, this is my new game, like my new product. I was telling Pedro during the break. I was like, old like 50s and 60s era camera lenses for Nikon. I'm like, got to put $20 on that. Why? Because I just won one and another one. I'm like, fuck. All right, shit. Why not?
It's that whole gold price versus iron price thing. You know, you can pay the gold price, but sometimes it's worth it to pay the iron price. You just
okay. What are things that you only buy new?
Power supplies. Yes.
Power supplies. Most of the, I don't buy a lot of like used PC components. I've bought like an old laptop off someone before, but like never like a video card or something, or like
okay. Here's something I'd never. I don't buy them, so take this for what it's been forever. A spinning hard drive I'd never buy used.
Those can be some good deals, though.
Me personally, as an individual, that's I draw the line because I don't trust the motherfuckers to package them correctly for shipping.
Yeah, you know what?
There is that.
I feel that having just dropped like $1,100 on like spinny disk drives. Yeah, sometimes you're like, do I have to pay that much money? Is there a way I can get these cheaper?
No, you can buy 77 of these 4 gigs off eBay, and we can get creative with this gas generator.
Yeah, I just need a shit ton of SCSI cards, right? Yeah.
Right?
Daisy chain them, that works.
JBOD?
Yeah.
Oh, ladies and gentlemen, before we get out of here...
just a bag of dicks.
That's it. Nothing but a bag of dicks all the way down. If you like what we do, head back over to LinuxGameCast. Big thanks to everybody who supports the show, all of our patrons over at patreon.com. Stick around for your names in the credits. Want to thank our latest patron. I forgot to include them last week. Zebafang. Thank you very much. Just became, I think, a Death Note, so that was pretty dope. Speaking of Patreon, patreon.com/LinuxGameCast, we get a bunch of things, bonuses for helping us out, early access to videos. You get the live and uncut in podcast format, which is kind of crazy. One of the things I'm going to start doing, since YouTube is getting squirrely with where we can remove ads from YouTube, I know that's counterproductive to profitability, but hey, they're just going to start smashing those things in, and I can't take them out. So I'm experimenting with putting the video up on Patreon. Just no ads, just regular quality if you want to watch it that way. Let me know what you think about it. But we have LibrePay, PayPal, one-time donations. If you got one of those Bitcoin things, they're not worth anything anymore, so send them all our way. PayPal, Amazon wishlist, Jordan, Jill, Pedro, and I got one for the studio. We got shirts, we got Amazon storefronts, and of course, a humble affiliate. There, I think we covered everything. We don't have any donations through the low Earth orbit ion donation.
Nope. We do got a store though. Store.LinuxGameCast.com. Go buy some t-shirts.
Yes.
Coach yourself with our faces.
Or don't.
Drink some mayonnaise out of your Hell Elks mug.
I mean, that's acceptable. I mean, it's the wintertime. A piping hot cup of mayo.
Let it cool down a little bit. You don't want to burn yourself.
Yogurt in the mayo jar and just go into the park and all.
Ladies and gentlemen, it doesn't get any better than that. On that bombshell, come play with us every Saturday night if you get a chance. 8:30 Eastern Standard Time, right here on twitch.tv/LinuxGameCast. After the fact, we got the YouTube channels. Everything's over on LinuxGameCast.com. Put us in your face. Get in touch with me. I'm on Zitter at Vinstone. On Mastodon at Vin, over at mast.linuxgamecast.com. Doing those things. Scream at me in Discord, scream at me in IRC. You know. Unless you're that one motherfucker on YouTube from the beginning of the show I was telling you about. Fuck him.
I'm everyone's favorite mayo bottle filled with Greek yogurt. Jordan, you can follow me on Mastodon at Frojo at mast.linuxgamecast.com or on Twitter or whatever at the Burning Pool. Yeah. Squirt, squirt.
You can find the things that tickle my brain all the way up my nose. But if you'd like to get in touch with me, you can go to Mastodon. It's unaccounted for with the actual number 4 at mast.linuxgamecast.com. That's the best way to get in touch with me, or on Discord if you have me around.
It's too powerful, too extreme.
Come to his house. Knock on his door.
Snap into a Slim
Yeah,
Jim.
be creepy like that.
Do it.
Man, if somebody knocks on your door, you know you don't know them.
Right?
Right. Like, doorbell, knock, I'm like, all the motherfuckers either just gonna walk in my house or send me a text message and be like, hey,
I'm here, yeah. Well, we gotta thank our advisors, Omegas, Arthur, and we gotta thank our executive producers, bitch, they're here, Barbara M. Scott Michaud, Atomic S, Mike G, Tomas, Hakeem, David, Eshep, and Ian, and our Limelick fans, Super Destote, Ian, Glorious Eggy, and Nubin.
I'm scared that Scott's gonna die of diabetes.
Radarex, Machina, Trudgy, Veritanuda, Justin Nubbin, Darkwing, System T, Dancing Joe, Ogie1, and Kyrilla.
All of our beautiful
So many
Cherylins.
death notes. You're all truly wonderful.
No, seriously,
I forgot
Scott.
you last week, Oil of Hope and Piper.
You see what's got
Angelou.
Look in general. It's horrifying. All of our fine, upstanding cannibals, Carl, Mike, Arthur, and Linux Neuro Oldies, Noctilus, John, E-Shep, Gamatron, New Detroit, DSN, Joe Aromatic, Dav, and Kai, Jorai. Thank you. You lovely psychopaths. Till next week, enjoy.
Mayonnaise.
Piping hot. I'm telling you, man, you just take like a little dop of mayo, put it in your Dr. Pepper.
I'm sorry, all I have is Miracle Whip. Please forgive me.
Fucking Canadians, dude. Dynamite. Is there like the Canadian equivalent? Is there like some fucked up topping?
Miracle Whip exists in the States.
Oh yeah, I'm just saying, is there like some odd, do you know of an oddball like regional whipped egg?
No, this is some mayo here.
My little brother sent me a message on Discord.
Good on him.
Saying that I made good investments as a child when it came to my Lego collection. I have that kit.
He's aware of it because he just sold it, Pedro.
Probably, and he's done very well for himself. But he's not gonna get full price because Luke Skywalker's here.
Oops. Good thing he's not watching this.
Yeah.
300 to 500.
Ooh. No, does it really sell for that, or is that like, is that the one that is still has that new Jedi smell?
Yeah, it's probably the still closed box, but
You look at like the ones that have been open, they're like $10.
What is that new Jedi smell? Sweaty farmhands?
No, it's celibate monk. This is a new fragrance.
Sand and
Kidnapping
Mum,
children,
who
kidnapping.
is an
Yes.
allegory to
Yeah.
the Virgin Mary. Yes.
Yeah. Sand and dead Tusken Raiders.
Celibacy and kidnapping. That's
Including the children.
That's that new Jedi smell.
Also with a hint of Jar Jar. Overtones.
No. That's Essence of Jar Jar by Calvin Klein.
Oh, Sand and Natalie Portman. There you go.
She wasn't a Jedi though. We want.
No,
we
but
want.
they were
we want the
supposedly rubbing themselves against one
What is
another.
the
when he was a
man.
child.
Yes,
he wanted
actually,
to.
yeah. He was a
When he was
teenager.
8. Yeah.
Child, I don't know, modern definition of child, like under 36.
So how old was he supposed to be in the first movie? He was like 9 or 10 or some shit. Like
Enough to where it was creepy in the second movie.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. Well, so I don't know, because like what Padme was supposed to be like 16. Like that's the age difference of me
14.
and my wife. 14? Yeah, my wife is like that much older than me. So
Nori too is older than me, but not by that much, just 2 years.
so like yeah, it's like creepy when they're kids, but like once they're 20 or something, it's pretty normal.
Yeah, but they weren't 20.
There's like
Yeah.
the whole
That's true.
between
That was some Romeo and Juliet.
14, 16, 18.
that's
Those
the,
ages, it gets real fucking complicated.
Well,
Hang on. But it's the 23-year-old motherfucker hanging out in the high school parking lot.
So, what do you think of the theory that like Padme was originally like not into Anakin at all, and he was using the Force to like fuck with her mind and slowly like break her down into falling for him?
Because Darth Jar Jar talked him into it.
Yeah. Well, of course. He was the true identity of Snoke. That's why they had to kill him in that movie. Because we found it out already, so they couldn't
Damn it.
surprise us with it.
Like, oh, this new kid, and he's gone.
That's what the Game of Thrones people did for season 8. They're like, God damn it, they figured it out. We got to change everything now. See, I don't know. I'm team. If they figure it out, like, good for them. Like that's the reward for paying attention for the entire show, right? Like if you're foreshadowing,
That's right up there with like patching out exploits in your fucking game that speedrunners were using. Straight to hell, Peter. Straight to hell. 14 and 9. I don't know, man.
Valve is very guilty of that.
But at least you can roll back keep the depots.
Yeah, you could just find the old depot. Although they've made that harder now too.
yeah, you need the key for that now.
Yeah,
They have it all encrypted.
which people have now started to compile the keys for all the different versions as they come out. Clever them.
Because it's an arms race. It doesn't actually end. There's no way to stop it. Short of like just shutting down the Steam servers and being like, we're not letting you download our games anymore.
And being a completely private company, Valve Gabe could get up tomorrow morning and be like, yeah, I'm done. Cut it off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really
They
hate
would get
speedrun-
sued
I really
a
hate
lot.
Half-Life speedrunners. So I'm just gonna torch Valve. Man, you know, at a certain level, I have to respect that. Like, you know what? Fair. If you're willing to throw out a multi-billion-dollar company to settle a grudge,
Be that petty. Yes.
Let me give you this like frightening alternative. Gabe's like, I gotta retire, guys, and like if I hand this over to anybody else, this is going to become an absolute shit show, and I want to go out on a high note. I want to maintain the legacy that was Valve, so we're closing it. He's like, there will not be a proper steward of this store. It'll turn to shit, and I don't want that.
now do you think Gabe will attempt to create a AI based on his own assistant, and then use that to run the company in perpetuity?
Gabe Johnson.
Do you think he has like told us his plan already?
Yeah, he's been working on that shit. I mean, it's such a crazy plan. Don't be an evil cunt. Or you know what? In today's society, only be a moderately evil con. Like, and you can skate by pretty good.
You can get by and still be praised for only being a little cunty.
The bare minimum. That's what we need. We need, like, instead of the more you know, the bare minimum.
I don't know, last night I was watching, or night before last I was watching somebody play the RoboCop demo, then I was like, man, I want to shoot, like, speaking of, like, little YouTube shorts of, I wanted to do Drobocop. If you know what Drobos are.
Yeah, like the NAS?
Yeah, the little NASs.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Go on.
Well, I mean, it's Drobocop. You know, it's riding in the cruiser, fighting crime, getting out.
Shooting hard drives at people?
Yeah, eventually at some point, you know, and it's, you know, freeze creep, except it's just the Drobo.
Yeah. Stops getting updates after a while because the company went out of business.
Oh, man. I wonder if mine's still, like, I hadn't cut on Zapnas in a long time. He's first gen Drobo, old school Drobo. But you know what? That was convenience moon magic back in the day. You could just buy a box, shove some fucking drives in it, cut it on, done.
They made a lot of money off that shell script. They did.
Yeah.
And, you know, to their credit, like Linux software RAID, like we didn't have a RAID built in, like it wasn't just everywhere in all motherboards at the time. And Linux software RAID was spotty. You didn't want to fucking trust it.
That's why firmware and hardware RAID stuck around for as long as they did.
Yeah. I mean, hardware RAID's all but gone right now inside of Enterprise, and even that.
Yeah, that's if you need a battery backup. But yeah, no, so, MD is like fucking spotless now. I would take that over like any commercial RAID solution.
You have a better chance of recovering stuff from a software RAID.
Oh yeah, no, and it's also great that I can take this and plug this into any other Linux.
And it automatically goes, that drive is a part of a RAID. Yes, it is.
Yes. Oh, all these drives are part of the same RAID. Cool, here's your RAID.
Give me a second, I need to figure this out. There you go.
MD80M-assemble. Hey, all right, we're good. Here's your RAID.
Yeah, no, I had a RAID that I made on the first few iterations of this box in Ubuntu Mate that survived right up until the SSDs came out of that case. So
I was trying to do I ran into something that was kind of interesting. So I image these boxes usually about every 3 to 4 weeks. Easy enough to do. I mean, it's not even automated. I just pop in a thumb drive, boot it up real quick. I got a big SSD. I was like, create a disk image. Done. Pedro's box wasn't fucking having it, man. And it's the first time I ever noticed this. The drive in it on GNOME disk, it had a Z's next to it, which was fucking amazing. I was like, what's this mean? I Google it. It means it's in power state. Then sometimes the Z's would go away. I'm like, oh, it's awake. Then I got to the point of where I was trying to create disk image quick enough before that popped back up.
So just have like some weird copy operation going in the background.
Didn't know what the fuck. Yeah, so I was like, stay awake, bitch. And I got tired of fighting. I just pulled the drive out and stuck it out of the box and imaged it. But yeah, it was like, that was the first time I'd ever run into that. I don't know if somebody's got a solution to it.
You can, I don't know if PowerTop still works, but it used to give you the option to just turn off the,
that's just the thing
for the SATA controller.
That's just the thing in proc. You can it's just a flag.
Yeah, you can just change the value itself.
Yeah. PowerTop like straight up just tells you what the flag is. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a million of those like sysctl options that you can also just set and like.
Things to keep track of. What is your backup? Do you do like per box? Do you have enough PCs?
So like most of the shit I want to keep is just like old TV shows. So I have most of those backed up on like multiple drives somewhere. There's like the active copy, and then there's just like I actually probably need to go verify that copy now. The backup copy, which is just like I have some unplugged drives sitting in like anti-static bags somewhere.
See, I got this guy. He's got all the systems.
Yeah, configuration-wise, I don't usually image stuff. I'll if I need to repeat it, I have Ansible, and otherwise I'll just like manually do it.
Yeah, this is designed so like if I get a drive, it dies. Downtime's quick enough to where I can go to the parts, grab another drive during a show, and image it, and be back up in 10 minutes.
Like, none of my shit is, like, hyper complex enough that, like, oh, I'll just install a new copy of Fedora and in, like, 30 minutes I'll be up and running again.
Yeah, I don't like going through all the, well, I got custom kernels on these boxes. I got a bunch of audio stuff set up, a bunch of stuff that's not done out of the box. Plus, setting up IP addresses, and just all the boring shit, man. Like, you know what? Boop, boop, done, power on.
No, and that's...
I have
that's
the
valid,
SSD
right?
that is effectively a drop-in. If I need to, just plug it in, done, boot, it's working. I'll deal with the rest of it at some point.
I really wouldn't mind a backup option that does shrinks the disk images on the fly.
Doesn't FileZilla do that with the compression? I know it ends in a 4.
Well, but we're not talking about compressing them. I'm
No,
talking
no,
about
no,
zeroing these bitches out.
Yeah, cause doing a resize E2FS.
Yeah.
On the file system.
Because you do a disk image by default, it's going to be whatever size the disk is.
Yes.
Yeah, it's whatever the actual. If I guess depending if you're doing a DD, it's like whatever the actual like bit distribution is on that disk too. So if you do like a resize operation, it'll do the defragment that you really only need to do to like cram everything to one end of the disk so that you can
It's just your data, and you pop it back on, and you open up, and you're like, hey, let's just drag that back out to the free space, and we're done.
The fuck is JetTorch? So the answer is no, Nemo.
All right.
We're
going to light up the after show. If you guys want to play some Jackbox with us, you're welcome to. If not, feel free to pop in, continue listening, and that's where we're going to be in just a minute. You. Let's go over to 4-shot.
An Ansible successor, huh?
No, I'm not learning Ansible.
That's just YAML. It's YAML that you need to make Ansible install a bunch of shit so that Ansible can work.
Ansible's an addiction waiting to happen. I've seen it take hold of people.
Yeah, once you like start automating shit, you're like, I could just automate everything. And it's like, I'll only ever have to do it once, but it's like, you only have to do it actually once. But I get it.
Oh yeah, it seems like a cool hobby.
Here's the thing. At work, I yell at people for not doing shit in Ansible because I need that repeatable. It's like, hey, don't do it manually. Make a playbook. That way, the next time this happens, someone just runs the playbook.
Fair enough. Let me get you
go.
guys.
If it's the supported file system, Clonezilla will only copy the used blocks. So it will create an image the size that there's data.
What is supported file systems?
That is the question.
Yeah, it's like, let's see, FAT16. I'm like, god damn it.
Riser FS still for some reason.
Yeah, that's it.
And only Riser 4.
ext2, ext3, ext4, Riser FS, XFS, JFS, and BTRFS. In Windows, it supports NTFS and FAT, LVM2, and some hardware RAID chipsets. There you go.
I used to use Riser FS all the time. I've turned into ext4 for boot drive, and all my crunch drives were XFS because I write shitloads of data at one time to them.
Yeah, my only real gripe with XFS is like the recovery tools are kind of weird.
Well, I mean, coming from RiserFS, I'm accustomed to that.
And also no shrinking. You can shrink EXT, you can't shrink XFS.
Yeah.
You can grow XFS, but you can't shrink.
Don't tell me what I can and can't do with my file system.
It's not me. It's HP.
There we go. There we go. It's loading up.
Well, no, HP wasn't IRIX. Who was IRIX?
Wait, SGI?
SGI? Okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
One of the things GPUs just destroyed as a company. Like single-handedly, as soon as we got 3D processing power, like they didn't have plan B.
Yeah, technically a part of HP now.
Yes, technically correct. The best kind of correct.
Let's see, Jackbox. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J. Did I not install it? No, it's the Jackbox, no wonder.
It's tanks.
God damn it.
But I thought Steam ignored the at the start and just put it in J, like they do with the Elder Scroll shows up at the top where the E's are.
I think that's why it was such a blind spot, because it's G, G, T, J, K, L. Brain's like, that's not supposed to be there, ignore it. Oh, man.
Okay, I really need to pee.
Go do it. I gotta log into, like, Twitch and shit. Oh, I gotta resize this, too. God damn. After games?
Aha. 720p for the win.
Yeah, that's still the default, but you can drag and drop it now. Let's play it this game. Every streamer knows this one. Close enough.
Hey, not bad. Not Brad.
We has audio? Yeah, we got audio. Oh, alright. Maybe we can play these online. I didn't check this before. Let's try Do-Re-Mi.
Do-Do-Re-Mi.
You have any glitches with the video or anything this week?
It blinked off a couple times, but it like resolved really quickly afterwards.
Okay.
Content control. Is there a streamer mode? Okay.
Profanity filtering off.
Italiano.
Ah, there's no Portuguese. Boo. Ooh, what idioms? Aw. Accessibility. Let's do subtitles. Gameplay, audience, max players 9. No, we're gonna need the tutorials. Passworded game? Yup. Require Twitch. 100%. Unlock everything. What is perfect playback? All music will... Oh. What?
Allow room code hiding.
Yep.
That way you can...
Good catch. Oh man, now I gotta do the, Now we gotta do the, I was gonna say this shot, everybody's just hanging out being quiet in the room, so...
Put him on the spot. Make Ogi-wan sing us a song.
Right. LZ4. See, I've never played around with a ZFS or a ButterFS.
I've been using Butterfest as like the main drive. I debated setting up the new box as a Butterfest RAID 10, but I decided against it. Yeah, I don't know. Every time I do this, I'm like, is this gonna be the day I enable Butterfest RAID? And the answer is no. But the subvolumes and snapshot stuff I use quite a bit. That's always nice. It's very nice to be like, this folder is just a disk now. You can just mount from like any folder point.
You know, the one thing I like about Vivaldi is it don't give a fuck like how many months it's been since we've last played Jackbox.
It's still logged in.
Still logged into Twitch. It's like, done. Not a problem, bro. Oh, I heard that Brave was laying off some people.
Oh no.
Okay, so we gotta pick a song, man.
What are our options?
I don't know. I'm getting there.
We got the tutorial, and I guess that's it.
Maybe. Let's see what a room code is. Let's put that through the old back channel.
Oh.
Let's make sure I'm the partier.
Party poopa.
Password required.
Yeah, there was like a number, I think. Three zero something.
Are we supposed to set a password?
I think you could have on the options screen, I want to say.
Hang on.
The...
Oh, God. Okay. Yeah, let's not do a password.
Okay.
That's going to be too much.
There's already a room code, that's good enough.
Yeah, I think room code's got us.
Alright. It's okay, so it's like an extra layer of... I guess that...
I would also like to remind everybody that Jackbox Party Pack 10 is still requires 13 escapes to get out of the... Okay, let's get this thing resized again because it doesn't remember... Hello, Kelvin.
Kelvin Shadewing.
That is your real preferred method, unit of measurement.
Maybe they're just a big fan of Lord Kelvin.
Could be. Gameplay.
I used to work with a guy named Kelvin.
No password.
Oh, hi, Kelvin.
All right. Gameplay, full screen, no. Content, off. Post, require Twitch, room code hiding.
I guess those are just synced across all of the games.
We learning.
Seems that way.